Justice for all.
Now, please remain standing. We'd like to have a moment of silence for the passing of one of our firefighters, Henry Yost. Thank you. Roll call.
Mr. Goffel. Here. Ms. Lynn. Mr. Cherry. Here. Mr. Dornan. Here. Mr. Gongaware. Here. Mr. Nemitz. Here. Mr. Vaca. Here. Ms. Dice.
Here.
Mr. Antonacci.
Here.
Chief Carlson. Here. Mr. Krangbacher. Mr. Radakovich. Here.
Everyone should have received the minutes from the September 18th meeting. What are the wishes of council?
I make a motion we approve them as presented. Second.
Okay, I have
Here we
a
go,
motion and
first.
a second. Any
There
questions
we
or
go.
comments on that? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Do we have any
Yeah, it's not coming.
for agenda items? Okay, the next is public comments for the agenda items only. Jerry Lewis?
Yes? You sure you want me up here first? Am I recognized?
You are me.
Thank you. Um, I want to talk about the zoning ordinance. I was outside in my car sitting, I've read it before, I read it again. I've named Manor Little Amsterdam. We used to just be had a massage parlor that we have. Now we can have adult clubs, nude clubs, all kinds of stuff, really nice. Den of inequity, I think we're headed towards with all these ordinances. Left out adult bookstore though, I don't know why. How come you left out adult bookstore?
It was under something, just.
Well, I guess
This is
it-
your time now.
I did, yeah, it is my time, thank you, you recognized me. The definitions were quite funny. I can't help but laugh. I can't help but laugh at some of the stuff that's like finances. For the borough council will appropriate general funds or other sources of monies to finance the preparation, administration, and enforcement of this ordinance. Then it says, for the same purposes, the borough council may accept gifts and grants for their services from private sources and from Commonwealth and federal government. Isn't that nice? You want a gift? How much of a gift you want? God, I should have brought my paper. Checkbook, wrote you a gift, now you want gifts. How nice. I thought that was good to have people. I tell you, this is really one silly piece of paper. And, kennels, here's a good one. Now, most people know that I have 2 German Shepherd service dogs, which I'm getting more dogs. Kennel, a building or a structure, a cage or a pen, used for the purpose of breeding, boarding, or selling or raising animals as a hobby, or for a private, commercial, professional business. A kennel is not a cage, or a pen. A kennel is a building or a structure. So I disagree with that one. And there's another thing that was missing in here, abandoned homes and dilapidated homes. Can you explain that to me, please? Because I got a rat house behind my house, and I've been waiting 2.5 years for something to be done, and it's not included in here. Can you explain why dilapidated and abandoned homes weren't taken care of in this zoning? Isn't that part of zoning, abandoned and dilapidated homes that's been sitting there for 2 years? Isn't that part of zoning? And it's missing,
Do you want?
and it's missing.
Do you want an answer?
Yes, please, President Lynn, I would like an answer because that's part of zoning. You got everything else in here, it's like, Nazi Germany, hand me your papers, please. You know, I got stuff here that we're not allowed to do. Oh, we can't put a fence in the front yard? I want a fence in my front yard for my dogs.
Okay, well, she's already gone. I'm just doing a second 3 minutes, so whenever.
Okay, anything else?
Well, yeah, I'd like an answer to the question, how come it's not in there?
It's a code enforcement issue of abandonment, not zoning.
Oh, but I already went to code enforcement 6 times. It should be under ordinance, because the zoning officer under the state law has to have a warrant and notify the people that they're coming up here to see the house and stuff like that. It's the zoning officer that takes care of it, not code enforcement, under state law. So how come abandoned homes wasn't putting up there in the zoning when it's under the state law?
Okay. Any other new subject?
Yeah,
Excuse me, I'd just like to give one.
I,
Stopper time, I'd like to make a comment on one of her
yes,
questions.
please, Mr. Cherry.
This has been 2 years in the works. And it included the planning commission, input from council, and 2 attorneys. And the reason why you see it thinking it's thick, and there's a lot there, first of all, it's not a whole lot thicker than what we had from 1970. It's just the terms have been brought up to what is consistent across the state, the county. It's bringing us into this year. It's not any more restrictive than before, and there are the terms you were asking about. There is the majority of what's in here of terms of things we don't have in Manor and probably never will. But the document, in case there is such an issue as it is everywhere else, it must be in compliance. And remember, you were here last night. This went to Westmoreland County for review. They reviewed that it is in compliance with the county plan. So we're not creating anything new to make anything more restrictive. If anything, the planning commission was doing it for a year, reviewing this every meeting. It was taking things out we could get away with taking out that were less restrictive on our residents, not more.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well, I feel it is more restrictive. I feel that in a way, there's good stuff in it,
All right,
but it's restricted on the part that, I got this rat house behind my home.
Jerry, unfortunately, we've given.
Well, you got other stuff on the agenda that I wanna talk about.
Then we need to move on and.
Oh, you need to move on and violate my civil rights at the same time. Is that what you wanna do? Is that what you wanna do,
What's
President
the
Lynn?
other topics that you have?
Well, I want, to know about the Manor Park restroom, American Rescue
That's going
Plan.
to be discussed later.
Yeah, that's what I always hear. So, why do it, because the simple fact of it is, I'll go repeat myself for the 100th time, that we have our time here, we're recognized, and, we wanna know about stuff. We hear it, you're gonna discuss it later, but yet we can't ask questions during that time.
Thank you.
Okay, so my thing is, if you don't have abandoned and dilapidated homes, right? And that,
Jerry,
then,
I'm not answering any questions. This is your time
Okay,
to speak and put
okay.
public comment on, and then we'll move on.
okay. I wouldn't answer the questions either.
Ms. Dawson, for the purpose of mayor.
I'd also like to add,
When you speak up.
I'd also like to add one more to that, if I could please, and it's about the fence for the front yard. I do think it would be a good idea to add that back in, making sure that it's far enough away from the easement that Joe was talking about last night. But I missed that in all of our discussions, so I think it should be added back in. Also want to talk about the restroom. I do believe at this stage of the game, mid-October, I think we should use the ARPA funds to pay for the bathroom. There's no way, watching how this government has worked the last couple of years, there's no way we're gonna be able to get something going that's like $350-some thousand in 2.5 months. From you guys talking about it now, getting everything approved, getting contracts and all that stuff. So could we please just use it for the bathroom and put this to rest? Lastly, I want to talk about the position of mayor. Over the years, I have had the privilege of working alongside many of you, in front of me and in the community on various community initiatives and local organizations, including my role on the planning commission. These experiences have given me invaluable insight into both the challenges we face and the opportunities that lie ahead. My vision for Manor is simple. I want to see a vibrant, inclusive, and safe community where every resident feels empowered to contribute and succeed. Public safety, community involvement, and economic growth are just a few of the keys where I believe we can make significant strides. I know that together, with innovative thinking and collaborative effort, we can bring about this positive change. As mayor, I promise sweet transparency, accountability, and an unwavering commitment to serving the community's best interests. I will work tirelessly to ensure that every decision made is one that benefits all of us, because Manor belongs to each and every one of us. So thank you for your time and considering me for this role.
Thank you. Next is
I disagree with you on the art
Joyce
fund, so
Winter.
I'm gonna fight it. I'm telling you right
I
now.
did not know, and I've heard that this new zoning was going through, I don't know where you had it posted. I talked to most of my people on the street, nobody thought, if this was such an important issue, is bringing new information and deciding it. Why wasn't it on the big board that everybody passed as a Manor by the railroad tracks? Why? It's very important, but we put it in places nobody sees it. And then you don't get the turnout, which I heard was cut short anyway. But why wasn't it where everybody can see, where people could attend and see what was going on in this neighborhood?
It was in the official newspaper.
Which I don't get.
And the tracking for the letters are broken.
No, there's no letters. When you do adopt a comprehensive zoning ordinance, you have to, under the MPC, you have an obligation to post it twice in a newspaper of general circulation.
Which I don't get.
And again,
So why wasn't it on the big white sign that everybody sees going in the Manor? You know why? Can I finish? You know why it wasn't on the big white sign? Because you guys were afraid that people were gonna see it and actually come and not be happy with it. I just wanna know why it wasn't in a place where everybody would see it.
I don't know that normally we post ordinances that are being adopted
I mean, it's a
on the big
thing.
white sign. And I understand what your comment is. I'm just trying to say, in the past, we have not posted on the big white sign since I've been here when we're passing an ordinance or not. That's never happened to my
It's a
knowledge.
meeting.
We've had planning commission meetings that I've attended for over a year, every month, and we probably missed 2 or 3 because of a lack of quorum. It's been on and advertised every month for over a year, and then it was appropriately published according to MPC and advertised, and it's also on the website. Again, if council wants to post every time we do an ordinance or different events on the sign, they can do that, but that law does not require
I
that.
think it's a pretty important thing though. I mean, I'm sorry, when Chuck was here, never had a problem, everything went smooth. Lately, we feel like everything is under scrutiny. Coming down to the Borough Building is not a friendly place. I mean, I shouldn't feel like that. I pay taxes, which probably pays everybody's salary. And I used to hate when people said that, but sorry, it's true.
We don't get a salary,
Well,
just so you know.
Yeah, she volunteered.
This is-
but not here, who work in the Borough Building. But I'm just saying, I've been here for almost 33 years. I've been one of the original people here. We used to love to have good parties, enjoy people, and yes, my time is up, but I'm just saying, this was important. It should have been posted so more people could have come and put input, and I believe if it wasn't put on that big white sign, because you guys would have had a heck of a turnout. Now you guys are passing things which we have no input on, or can't see. I'm just saying, I think it should have been advertised more. I don't get a paper, I don't have time, I work, I volunteer, I do a lot of things with a family. I don't have time to sit and read a paper. I wish I did, but thank you for your time.
That's it for, items.
Okay. Mayor's report?
So, everybody should have received a copy of the police and code report. If you did not, the chief is there, so I'm gonna just let him handle that. In case somebody did not get it,
Or could not open it?
or could not open it. So, I wanted to remind everybody that Halloween is Thursday, October 31st, from 6 to 8. And, so I'm not gonna be mayor much longer. I wanted to thank council for helping me when I needed help, trying to get things done with the police. Chief, I certainly appreciate all that you did for me. So, I appreciate my time. And I'm done.
Solicitor's report.
I have nothing to report this time.
Engineer's report?
There's gonna be a pre-construction meeting this Friday at 8:30 in the Borough Building, with the S&E contractor that's gonna be doing the sewer work. He's submitted 41 submittals, they've been approved. He has a few more that we have that, he has to submit to get approved. Hopefully he'll be starting shortly.
Anything
That's
else?
all I have.
Thank you.
I have a question. The date again? The meeting
This
again?
Friday,
At what time?
8:30. In the Borough Building.
Still open.
Okay, do we have any report? Do we, have any report from the zoning officer?
Nothing I'm aware of.
Thank you. So then the borough manager's report?
The only thing I have is that we are, working on closing out with the, grant for the park and the community day grant with DCED and DCNR. Waiting on some paperwork and some letters, to finalize that.
Is that all?
So,
All right, treasurer's report. Everyone should have received it prior to now. What are the wishes of council?
I make a motion, we approve it.
I'll second
is that Dave?
Dave. Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments on the motion? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Next is the tax collector's report. Should have all, received it by now?
I make a motion, we approve it as presented.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any questions or comments on the motion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Committee reports, buildings and properties.
I'm not, you got anything?
Nothing is coming back up with.
Okay. Community betterment, parks and recreation.
I have nothing, well, I do have the, we call it the trunk or treat, can happen at Norwood Elks this coming Saturday. I believe it begins at 11 o'clock.
That's when we'd like to have pets.
Yeah, a pet parade and, and then afterwards,
Immediately following it's going to be the trunk or treat.
Exactly.
Yes.
to be cleared out of the property by 3 p.m.
We actually said 2:30, I believe.
Oh, that's good too.
Is that correct, Chief?
That's before the
Yes,
break.
ma'am.
That's, we didn't
Before the
really
break.
cut it right to the,
That's fine.
okay,
That's all I have.
okay. Personnel and finance.
Obviously, the budget's on the agenda, so I got nothing.
Thank you, and thank you, by the way, Mr. Dornan. Community outreach and communication.
Nothing, I guess you're looking at me since you're sitting there.
Well, because I'm on the committee, but you're
Yeah.
the chair.
No, there's nothing going on.
Okay. Planning and zoning.
Two of the items we brought up under restroom and conference table later in the agenda. I have one issue to be addressed is, we received a request from the planning commission for a consolidation of two properties. We had to, the planning commission, send it back to the owner because the submission was incomplete. We've asked for this before, and I'd like to make sure it's in the minutes at this point, that before a date is given to a resident of when they're going to appear at the planning commission, it should be done in zoning as well. But at the planning commission, the application is not complete. It's not been reviewed by anybody, including the engineer, because no one gets it. We get a date assigned to us and it gets given to us as an item to be put on our agenda. That's backwards. And the reason why I say that is simple. If a resident wants to do something that has to come through our system here, they should have the right to have those people who hear it, have someone to review that everything is complete. Let me give you an example. If we have a subdivision, we require all the paperwork in advance. It goes to the solicitor to check for legals. It goes to the engineer to make sure that it is prepared correctly. Because both of them at that meeting are the first two to speak. And their job is to tell the planning commission, is the request legally presented correctly? And the engineer is it engineered correctly? They each have the opportunity to bring up what it may not have, might have shortfalls. The applicant should always be there, or a representative, who is then going to be able to discuss what they may have missed, make the changes, because the planning commission's goal is to get these things to go through, even first try. But when they come in and they start discussing that, well, I was told this, and I was told that, and those things don't work, because the people telling them that are not on the planning commission. And they're accepting applications that are incomplete. So this gentleman's paperwork could have been completed Monday if we would have had it in time to review it, including the engineer who was at our meeting Monday, but didn't have any time to speak of to review it. So, I don't know what we have to do to a policy, a what, but if we have that suggestion here, I wanna take that, I wanna run with it, I wanna set together, we have a chairman, the chairman should get, let me say this. We discussed this a long time ago at the planning commission, that nothing makes it to the agenda until the chairman, the one who writes that agenda, has the paperwork involving that item. If he takes a look at it, the first thing he should say is, did it go, it's gotta go to the engineer, it has to go to the solicitor. When they get it and get feedback that just says that we have time to put it on the next month's meeting, and what I have can be resolved at the meeting, we invite it to that next meeting. But then that way, we're not sitting in a meeting that if the public is asking questions, we have to all sit back and say, just got it. Just got the written copy of the application, and in there, it's not complete. So, we will send it up from the planning commission, if that's what's requested here. But one way or another, we have to fix this in the system, it's not fair to these applicants.
Chuck, I just have one comment. September 23rd, the planning commission, the solicitor, and the engineer were sent the application, the county planning comment letter, and the map that was turned into the borough.
On our emails.
Emails. And I also put in there that there was a few larger maps at the office, if anybody wanted one.
Well,
So I'm not sure if you're having an email issue, but it was sent to everybody that had emails was sent on September 23rd.
if it was, I don't know that. But if it was September 23rd, it was after our last meeting,
Yes.
which means at that point, it should have gone through our system to make the determination to make it into our agenda. I don't know that, but I didn't have it. I don't know
Yeah,
how or who or what, but I had a lot
I
of.
did receive it, but when we got to planning, the issue arose was it was not, the application was not signed.
Yep,
And then we didn't have the larger plan. But I didn't, again, that was when you guys had additional questions from the larger plan.
yep.
A letter went out today to the applicant to come back in November's meeting, so you know.
So are those plans here, the larger plan? Joe,
I'm sorry, what?
those larger plans are here?
I think there's one or two that might be 2x2 or 2x3.
Well, we're probably gonna need more copies of that, because in our request, there's always been, they have to submit 9.
Well, I think the
That's
current
7
zoning
members
ordinance
plus
is,
the
I think the
solicitor.
current zoning ordinance is 5.
Then we have to change it, because when we change to 7
I think you're changing it in this new one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Right,
he would have had to submit 5 technically.
yep. So I wanna clean that up, whatever it takes, if we have to do something at the planning commission to move that along, or what we can do, we wanna fix that, that's one. The second thing is, the sound system, the last meeting was approved, and, when speaking to the company, I had a question I had called the solicitor about, we talked about it for a while, and I kind of gave some of that feedback to the company to find out. I just feel, I don't know what we do to give to someone we're purchasing from, that when they typically get payment and then ship their products. Is that typical here?
No,
Okay. What do we do?
we don't pay until we get the product.
Okay, well, how do we tell someone that we have found them to have exactly what we want? We've approved it. How do we make sure they know that I'm just not a email and voice on the phone? Do we have purchase orders?
We
Do we have an
we-
approval?
We
I can
have,
send
we
that?
have a purchasing policy which certain borough officials are authorized to purchase. Individual council members are not authorized to purchase
I'm not asking to do
off of
that.
that policy, but We have that purchasing policy, anything over $500 requires a purchase order, which you know from when the paint was purchased for the park.
Yep.
So we do have a policy in place. As you know, we don't have a credit card. So they would have to be willing to invoice us and whatever their procedures are to be able to do that, whether they want us to set up an account with them, and then generally they would request information from the office to be able to set up the account to be able to invoice us.
Okay, so,
I would think we just write them a purchase order and send it.
exactly. If we have a purchase order, exactly what you said, to be signed by president of council, or however you do it, then, we address it to the company we're buying from, tell them the amount of money. I already have a copy of the invoice, but, I don't wanna miss any of that and have them have an issue of any kind, so I guess last month when it was approved, I probably should have been asking them, give me the paperwork to let this company know that I can ship off to them, so they know
Well,
they're
I
gonna
think
get
you should,
paid.
I think, if you wanna follow the purchasing procedure, you need to send the office the invoice, and we can send the paperwork, because we need to have paperwork to go with the payment.
Okay, but I'm just learning that now. I think going forward, if I'm getting approvals to have things purchased then, the system is, from the meeting minutes, gave the approval to purchase. I have that document, now that we just approved it. And their invoice, and they do the purchase order, you send it back to me, I send it to them, they get a package. Am I correct? Am I saying,
No.
Tony?
You're not correct.
The office, Chuck.
That's what I'm saying.
So if you have an invoice, bring
Got
it
it.
down to the office,
Got it?
Or email it to me.
and from that invoice, the purchase order will have to be made, and then Joe or whoever orders will have to order the.
We'll create the purchase order, make sure it's properly signed off on, and we can place the order based on what they need to be able to invoice us.
Okay, then that's what I need, and I have the invoice with me. Thank you. That's it until later, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Public safety and public works.
Tiffany, do you know what the fire department's planning for Halloween? Will you be out patrolling or anything like that?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
will?
we should
If he
have at
ever
least
comes
one
out and
truck
says,
out,
"I made an
and, we'll be doing our
plan, I think I'm
usual
famous."
close sales.
Okay, good. Randy, will you have anybody
Yes,
else?
Colin.
I will. I'll be out myself, and I anticipate bringing another officer on 2 cars. So then we'll have 3 vehicles out on patrol for Halloween night. Okay, that's all I have at the moment.
I need a motion at this time to go out of order for executive session.
I will make that motion.
And a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Okay, thank you. We will return shortly.
Yeah, we'll see you in an hour.
Oh, that's right. All in favor, aye. All opposed?
You didn't say what you were going out for. As usual. Ding dong. What?
How are you?
Hey, good, how are you?
All right, I didn't get a chance to come out. Everything's like 3 years. What's going on? Vanessa?
How you doing?
Good, how you doing?
Good. Nice to see you.
32 hours. Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Sometimes that's not what the yard says
Yep, yes, ma'am. Sometimes you just gotta go a little further.
Yeah. She was over here trying to tell me that you were nice.
It's only you.
Good. But I'm not late. But I'm not late.
Do I have a motion to return?
I make a motion.
To return to regular meeting? Thank you. Terry did, and Dave seconded it. All those, or any questions on the motion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
We were in executive session for legal, it was property dispute matters.
Is there a court case on that?
Actually, there's a potential litigation on lots 11 and 12 of
Oh, that's right.
that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So now, we're moving on to whole business now. And discussion and or deliberation and or official action on adopting resolution 2024-12, updating the sewer rules and regulations. What are the wishes of council? Do I have a motion?
I'd like to discuss it at some point, whether a motion is made or not.
No.
I think we have to have a motion first.
Right.
All right, I'll make the motion.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Was that Ted? Okay. Now, any questions or comments on?
Yes.
Yes, I'm looking right at it.
I want to amend the motion because of amending the document. Here's my question. The way it is written, it opens the door to potential problems in it, let's call it that. You go to section 18-423, 1-D, paragraph 1.
Holy cow, slow down.
Look at the front page of the resolution. Resolution 2024-12.
We don't even have a copy.
Resolution amending ordinance to adopt accepted methods to repair and replace existing building sewers at the discretion of the borough and/or borough engineer. So, it is repeated in section 1, or, section 1, third line. It says again, which shall be approved by borough and/or borough engineer on a case-by-case basis. Here's the problem I have. Who is and what is, I understand the engineer, but what about approved by the borough? What is the borough?
So when I was asked to write it, instead of actually having the engineer go out, if they were some other designee, And I don't know who that would be, whether it would be Jason, if it was or we have some other type of code enforcement officer, so I wrote it in a fashion that the borough is a borough employee. If you want it to be something else, you're more than happy to amend it.
Well, I look at it this way. To keep us legally as a borough out of potential litigation, we never should cross a line that the person designated or so is not a expert in that field, because if it goes to litigation and we're standing in front of a judge, well, you'll be standing in front of a judge, and the very first question is gonna come out of the other side is that person legally qualified and certified or licensed or something with sewage?
Right, so you might have.
So we only have two people in this borough that truly answer the question yes, and that is either our engineer or our sewage enforcement officer. And those are the only two that can do that. If we leave that as the borough, does that mean you can assign me to go out there to do that? No, it should be somebody licensed, certified, whatever the state requires.
So we can send our guys to get certified.
We could what?
We can send our guys to get certified. Public Works.
Do you want to open that legal issue?
So
In other words, we have people who by their action is defendable by us. We have no control over the engineer on his ability to be an engineer and make a call. A sewage enforcement officer, same way. We can't steer them to say, but that's my aunt that lives in that house up there. I'd like you to pass that. And an engineer or sewage enforcement officer isn't gonna lose their livelihood over it, not gonna say a word. They're going to do their job and go home.
The engineer's not gonna go on camera, for example, the scenario discussed. Some of these methods were said pipeline, okay? It's a good option for some things, but not if, say, you have more than minor root penetration in your lab. So the engineer's not gonna be the one. Right now, if a resident calls and says, hey, I'm having an issue with my sewer lab, we will send Public Works out with our sewer camera to camera inform to see if we can pinpoint the problem. The engineer is not gonna go out and camera somebody's lab.
So what you're saying, Chuck, is, I think maybe to rectify it is approved by we could modify it if you want. Say approved by a certified, and did you say what's the initials? NASCO borough employee and or borough engineer on a case by case basis.
Well, again, my problem with it. I don't want us to get caught in the position that anyone connected to the borough likes or doesn't like my aunt and makes a decision based on that. I like having people.
Your borough engineer could do the same thing. That, I don't think.
Yeah, but he got a license, he's got insurance, he's got all the things to protect.
Well,
Not doing that.
So does the borough.
The borough employees do.
If you are NASCO certified, Chuck,
Okay.
which I am, if I go and make a decision based on camera, that because I don't like somebody, that's my ass.
Exactly.
So as a borough employee, it's on me.
Yes, I get that.
So if we get our guys NASCO certified, which I believe they should already be,
Okay,
then there
so
shouldn't be a reason they can't go out and do their job.
I have no problem with that, but this doesn't say that. This says by
Correct.
the
You are
borough.
correct.
So
If we establish exactly what you just said, that only people going out there is certified,
NASCO certified.
then this ordinance, in essence, could work that way. If we don't spell it out that far, our tax collector could go out and do, you know what I mean?
You're correct.
You got a new profession?
NASCO?
NASSCO, I believe, NASCO.
Okay.
NASCO.
So where it states in the beginning then, repair or replace existing village sewers at the discretion of the borough, I think it starts there and should be changed to meet that requirement and/or the borough engineer.
If you're gonna put that in there, then you need to put in NASCO certified.
Yeah.
That's what I am
Yeah.
doing.
It's
Yeah.
NAASCO.
Is it NA?
Now, we also-
I'm Googling, give me a second.
It's two vessels, I believe. I'm due next year, so, but
Okay, so in that case,
So then we're gonna need
you,
to
you make a
budget for that.
decision with your license, I mean, it's your certification.
It's expensive.
You make a decision, if a plumber comes by to do that work and starts telling the people that was an incorrect inspection, is that something that, if that was our employees, do we have a problem with that?
Well, if our employees
wait a
use,
minute.
If it's a common mistake human beings make, it happens.
Explain that, explain your question. to me a little bit.
What if you, recommended to the people, in order to stay in compliance with our ordinance, you need to replace your terracotta lines with PVC? First of all, I don't believe in that. Is spelled in ours has a flow. Is that an issue if you
No.
make that call wrong? What happens?
Well, first off, 9 chances out of 10, he's not, whoever it is isn't gonna make the call wrong. There's specific standards that that line has to meet.
Okay?
If that standard is, if it's terracotta, it's gotta go, then that means the borough has already said that. So if he's following what the borough says, then he's not wrong.
Okay?
But like for us, it's all about infiltration, the mandate, yes, I. So if I see roots in that line,
Yeah.
and I can easily tell them they can clean those roots, but I can't tell them that, because it's infiltration. And we're mandated that that line has to be either repaired or replaced, depending on the severity. A plumber can come in and tell me all he wants, hey, Tony,
Yeah.
it's one root. It's still infiltration.
Yeah, he's liable to come in and say, I gotta do, 80 feet in plumbing, and you're in there saying 3 feet down, you have
Well,
a tree root there.
And correct, if he's trying to expand on what I said, if I tell him it's a spot repair, and he's trying to go full,
Yeah,
I mean, the homeowner has gotta take some responsibility for that.
yep.
This is what I'm requiring you to do.
Okay.
That's it.
Now, do you have in Trafford a policy on following that criteria? Is that criteria say that, what you just said about that you find one spot, it should be spot repair, it should, you know?
Yeah, so obviously they have ordinances in Trafford that dictate what I have to do.
Okay,
But then there's the mandates that Alcoasand lays upon us as well.
okay.
So as long as I follow those mandates and those ordinances, there's not a problem.
With this, we don't have those in place today?
We do.
We do?
We're just updating, right now, the only approved method of repair is open cut.
Yeah.
So
right.
we're
This'll give us burst, it'll give us
giving
all
them
kinds.
2 more options, less intrusive in some instances.
Yeah, I just don't, my concern, I don't have a problem with the idea that we're gonna do this. I'm just, oh yeah, I have it here, by the way. Yeah, but, just that we make sure that we're not in a situation that anybody connected to the borough can go out and look at the camera and say, okay, this is what you have to do. We make a mistake, we're all biting that bullet.
No, I agree, our guys should be NASCO certified.
And they're not as of today?
No, because it does cost some money.
Okay, so now, for now, we can put that language in there, Chelsea, about
Yeah,
being
so-
certified?
so I added.
So right now, it's just our engineer and our, SEO. Are the only two that could do
Right.
it until they're certified. You put that in there that way,
I wrote it,
anyone certified can do that.
so we need to amend the motion, I think it's
I don't think you need to put the SEO in there. Because
No, I'm
our
saying
shore
he-
lateral,
I
I
don't think
believe
you
our
put it in
shore
there,
lateral
if you're leaving.
inspection, our shore lateral inspection program does not, it only covers SEO is only dealing with, on lot lines, which is regulated under Act 537.
So do you want it what is the title of the individual that can do sewer inspections that works here? What
It
is
would just be one of 4 public works employees that are gonna go out and camera it, if you're gonna.
I think she's asking if he could give it a title then.
No.
It says he's the
It
one
would just be
qualified to do it.
Yeah, just ask, right.
All right.
Certified.
So then I wrote it that, at the discretion of a NASCO certified borough employee and or borough engineer.
Perfect,
But it's not that
Well-
certified.
perfect.
Well, hold on a second.
And or borough engineer.
And/or.
Okay, you didn't mean borough engineer had to be NASCO
No,
certified, right?
NASCO certified borough employee,
Hold on. Does it have to be NASCO certified
that's what I was asking, does the,
employee, or can it just be until, because right now we don't have one, so
It would be the engineer until we get someone.
what about
certified.
like, we use PT Sewer right
Yeah.
now, so if they have a NASCO certified guy, we can have them.
Which they all are.
Which
So
they
can't
all
we
are.
just say NASCO certified inspector?
Yes.
Okay.
You mean instead of the word borough,
Right.
Right,
maybe for employee
just
or
any
any.
NASCO certified person.
got it, I'm putting
Borough
at the
engineer.
discretion of a NASCO certified inspector and or borough engineer. I'm doing it right now, Joe. Yep, I'm gonna email it to you shortly.
You're just changing, that's just gonna change page 1.
What, question, what's involved in getting them qualified? I know that you just said they just gotta go out and certify.
It's
It's a test, the 2-day.
It's a 2-day class,
Okay,
and they're tested at the end, they obviously have to pass. From what I understand, it's not an easy class, and every, how many years?
Every 3 years, you have to be recertified.
And then they also need continuing education credits for that, or
No,
no?
just the research.
Just the research, every 3 years they have to get research.
and the cost?
We got some.
I think it's around 1,500,
I think it's 15 to 16.
1,600 per employee.
Right.
So I would recommend if we're gonna do this, probably, we try to get at least 2 of the 4 certified next year.
In 2005,
Well, sure,
2025.
we're out there with the camera anyway. If we're out there with the camera anyway, the guys operating that camera, they're there for that purpose. It's good to have our employees there doing that, being certified. Either that or we have to call Tony.
I agree. You wanna call me?
We'll call you to come do it.
That's Charlie.
But I don't know if we do here
Not yet,
Is it possible then that we could get 2 people certified for 25, and then maybe in 26 get the other 2 certified? So we split the cost up? You're not always available, believe me.
I mean, we can pay for some of it out of the sewer budget.
Well, you should be, right.
Yeah, it's got $2 million in it. You might as well.
That's a question for later, Karen.
Okay.
oh, okay.
I should.
All right, so I need to amend my motion, and I'm gonna ask the solicitor to read it, because she wrote it in there, and I can't read her forward from here.
So then it would be a resolution amending ordinance 588-20-03 to adopt acceptable methods to repair or replace existing building sewers at the discretion of a NASCO certified inspector and or borough engineer. I do want to note that Ms. Lynn also indicated there was a typo, that it should have said it resolved instead of is.
Chelsea, we can do it by statute, resolution, and just amend it.
I'm doing it right now.
But you have to read off the-
I have it I'm on my computer in my office, like through, amending it right now. I do.
Did you work on the resolution?
Yep, I do. I have it all. I'll put it in there. So that's the new motion.
All right,
Okay,
good with that?
I'll second it.
okay. Roll call?
Mr. Gockel?
I'm not part of it.
Oh, that's right, never mind. Ms. Lynn?
Yes.
Mr. Cherry?
Yes.
Mr. Dornan?
Yes.
Mr. Goldberg?
Yes.
Mr. Nemitz?
Yes?
Mr. Vaca?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Just a quick question. when the initial motion was made, it was Terry and Ted.
Right.
Um,
Terry and Ted, so Terry and Ted would have to,
right, and
Do the
Dave
amendment.
can't second it because he doesn't make one. So you amend?
I do. He does.
Okay.
He does.
Okay. Just need to make sure to have that on. Okay. Next is the discussion and/or deliberation and/or official action on Manor Park restroom. Now,
I would just like to make a motion to discuss that would set a budget for the existing restroom building to convert those single-use bathrooms into an extended size, which would make it handicap accessible, both inside and out, and do it within a budget of $40,000.
But it's never gonna be ADA compliant,
Why
because
not?
it's a flood zone.
Yes,
Okay, cool.
Yes,
Let me just read a second, Terry, first.
sorry.
No, he said he wants to have a discussion.
I thought he said he made a motion.
You did
He
make a
needs
motion.
motion.
He said discussion.
yeah, we need.
I'll second it.
Okay, now you can discuss. I'm sorry, Terry.
No, it's all right.
Oh, jeez.
He said I want to have a discussion.
No, but I thought, to make it ADA compliant, it's gotta be outside the flood zone.
Uh-uh.
Nope.
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 Interesting, okay.
Okay.
So, let me explain that about the $40,000. The idea is simple. You mentioned it earlier to Dawn, she'd asked about it, Dave and I spoke about it in committee, and it's like this. And of course, it could be paid for out of American Rescue because it benefits the community with all those things. Number one, most importantly, it'll give us a year-round bathroom. Secondly, make it handicap accessible in size. We only have to extend the back wall. The back wall was built many years ago, right on top of the floor, out of block, going up to the ceiling. It doesn't support the ceiling, it doesn't do anything. So, removing that, extending the wall back to give us the total 5-foot radius turnaround of a wheelchair, and access into it, that for $40,000 gives us everything we need. May not cost that, but I'm sure it won't go over. Secondly, what it does is it gives us the ability then to look at that when it's complete and realize that the rec board window, when that used to be used many years ago as a concession stand, it's got a header across it, so it has a window in it. And that can be opened as well. If you want to in the future, you know what it's gonna cost, you know what it will look like, you know everything about it. We put a second one in there, then designate men and women. That gives us everything we need in that park, year-round bathroom, and it fits within the size of our town, the activities that go on in that park. And, that's my reason why I know it will work.
Okay, I have 3 quick questions. What about the concrete pad out front? Was that included? in your
That
cost?
concrete pad's gotta be torn out of there. It should have been done when the park was done. It was paved up to it, but it was left there. That has to come out.
So that's part of your budget?
And, yeah, and it should be, for now, especially at the different times of the year, it should be laid, pads. Because we're not gonna get a concrete truck down there, we're not gonna get an asphalt truck down there. So a small pickup takes down, just like our maintenance, take down the 2-foot by 2-foot pad, spread the stone, level it out, compact it, put the stones in, go out in between.
How does that work with wheelchairs, or with those
I don't
pads of
know, I
stone?
can't get in it.
As long as it's.
No.
How am I gonna work?
No, they're not loose stones. They will look like poured concrete. It's just,
So there's not gonna be any gaps between
No.
them for the wheels to get caught in?
No.
That's what my question
no.
is.
You
Okay.
cement and grout them when you're done.
Okay.
Just to make sure there is nothing there. But they're this far apart, just enough for freeze and thaw.
Okay, I'm good with that. What, does that also include the roof?
Yes, well, let me figure the whole budget in there. Let's put it this way, it's, you know how I work, that's exactly what I want. I want the building to look 1,000 times better, be very operable, clean, new bathroom. You know, it's, I don't wanna, it's a park bathroom, you're not gonna put marble tile in. But we surely have to have non-damageable or minimum damaged walls.
Yeah.
And they're all concrete.
Well, I'm fine with that. I would just check and see if you had plans to replace the roof as well. What about some?
Well, let's put it this way, it's corrugated. So, it's
Yeah,
not
but-
an expensive roof, it's not hard to get off, and it's a matter of.
Well, there's quite a few layers of shingles under that.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that, I thought it was just that.
No, I think I looked at it when we were down there that day.
It's not a big roof.
It's not a big roof or a big deal. I'm just curious if you had that figured in too.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
that's
look at it
covered.
this way, I will get you
And-
that number as well, and see if it can fit in that.
And probably some auxiliary lighting around there, so it's well lit for, handicapped people to see and move around.
Well, I like motion detecting lights in that park anyway, but realistically, those are the permanent lights. Motion detector lights tell the police somebody's in the park at night.
You said it's one bathroom, one toilet?
Yep.
That's it?
It's what's there now, only the toilet gets rearranged to the back wall. So they have to cut the floor, move the plumbing for the toilet to the back wall, and it opens up the sink. There's not gonna be anything in there, but the toilet, sink, and, hand towel type of thing. So, but it has ADA requirement in size, because right now it's just not big enough.
Does that include ventilation and stuff,
I want to put in
fans and-
an electric heater,
Good.
commercial grade electric heater.
Good.
You can set that thing on 50 degrees.
Good. What about,
Includes a new door,
okay,
and it should hold its heat. It should have a 12-month staff.
Hey Chuck, the issue isn't the heat in the bathroom, that line runs from below the hill on Rush Street all the way through the park, and it's not that deep, so it will freeze in the winter.
Outside the building.
Yeah. It runs, the water, the meter pit is at the bottom of the far hill coming off of Brush Street.
Look at that school in the corner.
If you go to the end of Brush Street, basically, you look down at the base of the hill right above the track, you can see it forever. That's where the meter pit is. That line runs from there all the way up.
Oh, I
to
thought the
hill.
meter pit was right outside the building. Or
No,
is that?
that's just the
upper
down
part. It's
No,
right outside
that,
the building.
what you see right outside the building is just a junction where the line splits off and goes to the water pump.
How deep is it?
It's not very deep. I'll take a measure, but it's not below the frost line, I'm pretty sure. That's why we turn the water off every winter.
Well, we gotta solve that problem one way or another. Is the water line on Brush Street up there? That's where the water line is?
That's where it comes off of Brush Street.
Well, let's put it this way. I think that's a problem we have to solve. Because we have people that go down there in the wintertime, I can see them. And then, again, they don't stay long, and little kids think yellow snow. So, we gotta figure it out for the long run. Huh?
that's right.
So, I mean, I'm looking at what's there now, and to get it handicap accessible,
They're all closed, right?
that'd be fine.
What, November, December, January, February?
Yeah, they go
A lot of places.
Everybody.
Yeah.
No, it's the same way.
Well, we have to, we still have to say.
I mean,
Hold on, just so you're aware, you're talking about the water. We don't have parks open year round.
the clerks are, it's not bad.
The park is open, correct, the bathrooms are not. And I can tell you, we're probably below the frost line on a lot of the water lines in Trafford.
They still don't leave them open.
because you're taking a chance. Unless you're heating those bathrooms, which means now you're causing a bigger expense, either electric or gas.
Yep.
And we all know both of those are going up,
You can heat the water line up.
but you're running a risk, and it's expensive to repair. Trust me, I know, we've done it.
Well, that was, I bring that up because this has come up now, enough meetings that, we all should relook at where we really stood. And, at that time, it was looking at the borough budget, not our money. But, at this point, back when I did the cleanup down there, it's time that bathroom has to be done. I mean, it's existing, it's there, it's a building, it's everything we've had all these years. That's not a lot of money to spend to get a handicap bathroom in there, clean that thing up. If we have a new issue about it, it shouldn't be 12 months, I'm sure we would enter that conversation, I'd like it to be, but if it makes no sense and no one's parked bathrooms are open in the winter, I get it.
How are you keeping them lines from freezing during the winter? I mean, even if you turn the water off, there's still water in it.
No, don't drain
We
it.
blow ours out.
Yeah, we do the same thing, we drain the lines completely and blow them out.
Good, okay.
From the meter pit down.
Yeah. We blow them out.
Well, I take that out at this point, I take that out.
We actually even take the backflow preventer, there's a piece of the backflow preventer valve in there that we gotta take out in the winter too, so it doesn't, because it has, water,
hold
moisture
water.
in it,
So that's my idea. I mean, we got a park, we put a ton of money in the last, 10 years? And the reality is, you got a building, it's there. We spent a fraction of what it could cost us. We clean it up, we open it up, and the very worst scenario, if later down the line, you wanna put another something in there, you will then have a second bathroom. But for me, you know how I feel about, originally, the other alternative started out at 150,000, and the most recent is 250. And I gotta tell you, I can't look the citizens of this town in the face and say, the cost of a lot of people's houses would give us 2 bathrooms in a park. That's an extremely high amount of money for us to spend in this town. So, I'd rather, see what we can do about giving them a bathroom handicap instead. Am I correct that, the rest of the park now is handicap accessible all the way to that building?
No,
I thought it passed before you did the last work on it, I thought it passed everything. It was handicapped, because you can get on those pathways in a wheelchair. And nothing exceeds that elevation there, correct?
Other than the upper part of the truck.
Well, if you get out at the handicap parking,
Correct. You
if
can
you
access.
get out of there,
You can
go
access the entire
towards
park.
the creek, all the way around till the park goes up.
You can access the entire park, including the playground, the gazebo, the
Yeah.
skate park.
So realistically, we're just gonna make that be our area. And if you look at how you put in the pavilion, most handicaps, if they're going anywhere, the only place to get under cover now is in would be the upper pavilion, but there's 2 steps. Is there steps on both sides of that little gazebo?
There's a ramp in the back.
There's a ramp in the back? Okay, so you got that one, and the new pavilion, and right there is that existing building. So that's my motion, to try to set a budget, see if it can be done in the budget. If it works, it works. If it doesn't meet that budget, it has to come back to you. Well, it's gonna come back to you no matter what, but it should be examined to see if it can't be brought up, including that roof. See
Chelsea,
what we get done.
so even though he made the mark, we're discussing, can the other committee give their take as well? Because the 2 committees met for this.
Yes.
Absolutely.
This committee said
You
no.
can still have discussion on it, you're open for discussion on
So
it,
that,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so, Terry Nimitz met, with Ted Dornan and myself. And we looked at all angles, and we felt that it was more efficient to go with the new restroom as laid out, as long as the funds could come from the ARPA funds. And we believe that that will be easier than trying to go in and just finagle, around, because we are in a floodplain zone.
You wanna tell them about it? Tell them about it,
Yeah.
You just did. Everybody here essentially.
I'm sorry, I thought you started with that.
Okay, so Chuck made a motion.
That was for the budget, to do that other building.
Not to exceed 40,000.
Yes.
So, just so I'm aware, not that I have a vote right now. You're making the motion to set a budget for the
No.
existing with no new bathroom.
No, with the, not new, renovating that bathroom.
Correct, but
to make it
no-
handicap accessible,
Are you-
to find out how much we can get in the rest of that building out of that 40,000.
So that's kind of what I'm asking you. No new bathroom. Just,
Building,
Just renovating.
just renovating the
just
old.
renovating.
Okay, that, just making sure.
Who seconded that motion?
Dave.
Dave, okay.
So, and what happens if we all agree to that, and who's gonna do the work, and if it comes in at 60,000, then what happens to those?
Well,
It comes
I
back.
think that if you remember, the last time I did this with a budget like that, is I come back to council and say, your $40,000 budget, this is what fits. And bring that in, and bring it in where we potentially got those numbers from. And since we are over the bid threshold, we're gonna have to bid it again anyway. So it at least tells us in our budget, we get new porcelain pieces, because of course they all have the handicap heights and everything about them. We get floors done, we get walls done, we get lighting done, maybe we get a roof done, whatever we fit in that budget. Here, let me say this, my point is this, I think I said a couple meetings ago, when the question was, when I go and do this, get the numbers and all that. I don't wanna do them and have it just be thrown out 2 months after I do all the work. And because we're gonna put a $250,000 package bathroom facility in. I don't wanna do that. If I get a budget, that means you're serious about it. If I can bring it in that budget, we're gonna do it. That's the reason why I wanna do it like that. I value mine, anybody else's time.
Here's the problem
to buy
that
it.
happened, Chuck, is this gotta have a contract by December.
Okay,
So you have to put it out for bid, which is 30 days,
okay,
okay? And then you're probably not gonna have that done by December 31st.
why not? Why not?
Who's writing the bid spec?
I think I can sit with that gentleman to your left and have it done in.
I mean, that's the first thing. If you're putting it out the bid spec has to be ready.
It's in the middle of a major
Yep.
short project, right?
So let's, you know what I mean?
Yep. I have no problem sitting to do that. It's a simple thing about a walkthrough. Ed and I can walk through that and point at every piece in it. He can put in the language he needs to for that. Put it down in a day.
Okay.
Does Jason have to be involved in any of this as our zoning guy? Just because I don't know.
You need a building permit, it's because where the borough would be considered a commercial building, so you'd have to comply with the commercial, whatever the commercial UCC rules are for renovations. It's commercial, the commercial, plan reviewer would have to review all that. Jason doesn't
Keep in
review
mind
commercial.
what I've done for the last 30 years.
Correct. I'm just curious, you know, I mean.
Commercial properties.
Right.
I was just answering him on the normal procedure for a commercial.
Any other discussion on the motion? Can we do a roll call vote, please?
Yeah, give me a second.
I don't think we've ever decided anything yet.
We got a motion on the table for a $40,000 budget.
$40,000 budget.
It doesn't have to be done by December 31st for that purpose, for the ARP money it does. But if anything stalls it along the way, we surely can put it in next year's budget. Bottom line is, we're committing to making our bathroom in the park handicap accessible. I'm not asking how it's being, if it's gonna go ARP money or how you wanna do it. I'm saying $40,000 budget to make the bathroom handicap accessible.
Okay, so now we're on the roll.
Ms. Lynn,
No.
Mr. Cherry,
Yes.
Mr. Dornan,
No.
I'm sorry, is that a no, Ken?
No.
Okay. Mr. Gondaware,
Yes.
Mr. Nemitz,
No.
Mr. Vaca, Mr. Vaca,
He's still thinking.
That's never happened before.
Yeah, we're just. Thank you.
I gotta say no.
okay, that's 4 no's, 2 yeses, the motion fails.
Got my lawsuit.
And then, what are the wishes of
told you.
council for the other?
Should've took the
There's
$40,000.
no motion, Dawn.
No, that's what I said, is
4 no's.
what are the wishes of council?
Should've took the $40,000. I won a bitch about that point.
So she's asking for a new motion. Or if there's
Any other wishes?
Right, I said. Any other wishes regarding the, Manor Park restroom?
I make a motion that we go with it was a pre-manufactured. One 14. Paid, only paid for through the ARPA funds.
ARPA, through ARPA? Yeah. Okay.
I'm asking you.
Okay, so I have a motion, do I have a second?
Can I say we table it and discuss it a little longer?
Either a second or not.
Need a second or dies?
Okay, I don't get a second. Make your motion. What?
No, you don't get a second, it dies.
Yeah, I don't get a second, so it dies, so.
Well,
Not
unless somebody
yet.
else wants it.
Oh,
3 times I have to ask.
oh,
Do I have a second? Do I have a second?
I'll second it, keep the discussion going.
Vote.
I just-
Terry just seconded.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Terry.
Mr. Nemitz seconded.
Mhm.
You can have your discussion now.
Okay. Any discussion?
So you wanna
Yes.
spend $275,000 out of that COVID money.
Do you remember what your?
Well, it's not 275 because a lot of that is in-house.
Yeah, we got paid in full.
So the building itself is 157. So a lot of the other stuff is site preparation that is gonna be done in-house. All right, so our guys are gonna be doing the work day. So yeah, there's, not all of it, but there's going to be a number attached to it, but it's not,
Expenses. What did
you know what I'm saying? So it's not what you're saying it
It was
is.
supposed to be $66,000.
And, yeah, I'd like to have a discussion so that we can all agree on something.
Yeah, but you gave us those numbers. By the time you gave the cost of the building and all.
You're
the-
giving us a pie in the sky of 40 grand and you don't even know. You're asking us to vote on something that you have no clue what it's gonna cost.
The hell I
Okay,
don't. Well, how
stop.
could you say that?
You just said.
No, I know exactly
You just
what
said,
that's gonna
you're
cost.
gonna throw up 40 grand and you don't know.
Yes,
We
I
gotta
do
put it
know.
out for bid.
Yes, I do know.
Okay,
How can you say I don't know?
I just said it, you don't know, that's how I can say it.
I can put $75,000 in that bathroom back there, and $75,000 in the other one, in this building. Those don't cost $75,000. But you wanna put.
I want us to have a conversation about what's best for the community.
Exactly.
And that's not
How
what's
you
best
gonna tell
for the
people
community.
this? We're gonna spend $250,000 on two
Listen, if I
bathroom stalls.
wanted that, I could have made the second motion right now, and you saw that there was 4 people that would have said yes, okay? I wanted to have a discussion so that we all agreed on something,
Yes, sir.
okay?
Agreed
I
on
know
the
exactly
wrong
what it takes
thing.
to do that building. And you are taking a packaged plan, that's what they're called. A packaged plan and putting it in a park. That by the time we take a $350,000 ARP money, when you're done with that over there, you will spend 75% of that money on 2 bathroom stalls? When we have how much we're supposed to do with for our town that benefits the citizens, no one's even talking about the thing that was on the table a year ago. And brought up in here was about a sign in the middle, at the intersection where we have the old one.
For $40,000.
I said that.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm saying,
Just to come
$40,000.
Right,
You
but-
wanted to spend $40,000 on the sign.
no, I said it came up, and again, it should have been a budget item, but it was brought up months ago. Nobody took it from there. The man stood right here and discussed the sign, gave us the paperwork, where it's coming from. Nobody moved on it to get it, our money back then. So a sign, we had someone stand up here tonight about communication
To where?
with our citizens. There's a digital 2-sided sign that are the kind of things we need to spend money on, not $250,000 on 2 bathroom stalls. It just, to me, guys, the cost is so outrageous. You can build that for a lot less money, putting 2 stalls in there with a block or brick building with a roof and all the plumbing you're talking about. You don't need to spend $250,000 on 2 stalls. It's just, that's my opinion on it. I said, but you knew this months ago when this came up.
That's the Denali bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. That's even the name of it, Denali. So, that's my opinion. I think we're not treating our citizens fair by saying we're gonna give you $250,000 bathroom in the park.
Or
The facility is only $157,000.
It doesn't matter, it's total project cost.
Go with the precast.
Right.
That makes it $250,000. If you went and bought a lot and put a house on it, do you not, at the end of it all, realize your total expense was the lot and the house? That's basically what we're doing here.
Randy's got his phone ready to call a cop.
So, any
Sorry, I-
additional? Okay, so can I get a roll call vote, please?
Sure. Ms.
What are we
Lynn?
voting on
Yes,
first of all?
oh, the.
The recast,
the
what you said.
Yeah,
Ms. Lynn?
yes.
Mr. Cherry?
No.
Mr. Dornan?
Yes.
Mr. Gongor?
No.
Mr. Nemitz?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mr.
jeez.
Vaca?
50,000, but not.
Okay, right now we have 3 no's and 3 yeses. Mr. Gockel?
No. But I will add this. There has to be a discussion, one way or another, because this needs to be done by next month. And I will be back in charge by that.
Yes.
So
Totally.
we have to figure it out.
Yep.
Okay, so the motion does.
The motion fails.
Fails.
4-4.
Okay. So we voted in. So discussion and/or deliberation and/or official action on American Rescue Plan funds, the ARPA funds. What are the wishes of council?
I make a motion that we approve a portion of that money to place the sign, digital sign on the intersection where the existing sign is, in the budget amounts given by your planning commission chairman, Tyler.
Do we do that?
Yeah, I did the research and it actually allows for it. There's signs that were purchased by other municipalities and school districts and approved for use of ARPA funds.
Wrong. That was under different COVID funds. I looked it up. It was different COVID funds for schools that use it for signs, not for this.
I'm gonna take our solicitor's opinion of it. Go ahead. please.
Go ahead.
I didn't hear the motion, I'm sorry.
To purchase out of the American Rescue Plan money, the sign as presented by Tyler of the Planning Commission. Some months ago, he brought it in, I believe it was again around 40,000, wasn't it? It was around.
It was around 40, but I don't know
In
the
fact,
exact
did
number.
I give you paperwork recently?
So I have a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, what are you gonna do? 40,000 for signs.
Hey, just so you're aware, I reached back out to Tyler and asked him, because there is a bit of controversy with where the sign is right now. I talked to Joe about maybe putting it on the Sandy Hill lot.
Well, we did discuss this existing
Correct.
location.
We do own that property out there.
Yeah, but this one down here,
And I did
Sandy Hill.
ask Tyler if that would increase the cost, because obviously we'd have to run electric, blah, blah, blah. He has not gotten back.
yeah, he brought it up in the Planning Commission.
Okay, well, it'd have been great if he would have
It's,
answered me.
you know, there's this confusion of how to put it in, what to do, that kind of thing.
Well, and that's why I was trying to get with him, so we could get this thing rolling.
Yeah, the question you asked him about the electric,
Right.
he had no idea where to start.
But if you're gonna make your motion, I'm asking that, I don't know if we should put it where that sign is now.
I think the location, one of two places.
I think, our engineer probably has the figures of traffic count. Our traffic count is what matters where our sign should be, if it's gonna be informational. Now, I don't know which one is gonna be more, but let me tell you this about this lot down here. We had that discussion in the planning commission with our solicitor as well, and we had a consensus of the simplest of things. I know for a fact that that sign, a sign owned by the borough has been on that lot in excess of 30 years.
Correct.
That property, that section, is not designated as a taxable lot anywhere. And we've assumed it long enough for a lot of adverse possession, a lot of taking it under eminent domain. But I'll tell you this, you go over there and take that sign down and put a brand new sign in there, who's coming to tell you to move it?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
No, I'm saying, I don't wanna roll that out for that
Correct.
purpose.
I'm asking you to maybe amend it to say we look at both places. And hopefully Tyler can get with me.
I have no problem with that.
Well, that's what we were talking about, was a double-sided,
But it is,
Like
it's a
a-
V shape.
a V-shaped sign.
If you put it too close to the
Well,
curb, you're gonna have
because
an issue.
you're only gonna see it in one direction then.
If you look at most of that traffic goes out now.
Yeah, and you never see the parking lot improvement. Sorry.
To me, it all matters is
Might
that
get
sign has to
arrested.
be able to reach as much of the citizens in the town as we can.
Correct.
Yeah.
Is this thing controllable from the office's digital sign?
No.
Well, how does it change?
We have to take
Controllable from a
the
laptop.
sign itself. The way that this sign really can work, we fund it, we put the sign in place. We assign it over to a sign marketing company, there's a ton of them out there. They take it and they will, as it changes, sell the space to the commercial properties. Somebody wants to put a birthday notification on it, you've seen them everywhere, they say all kinds of things. You set a criteria of what you will or won't have on it, you let them go out and lease it. They get a piece of it like a leasing agent, the rest comes back to the borough, it offsets the electric cost, and eventually brings back your $40,000. So that sign will pay for itself over, I don't know what period of time, but you put it out for bid by marketing companies, you'll have to go on
So
race.
there has to be a cellular connection with that sign for them to do that. They're not gonna drive out and plug a laptop into it.
No, exactly.
You don't have to plug a laptop in, though. We talked about these years ago. You control it within a certain proximity with a laptop. You program what you want on it.
Yep.
So how about Wi-Fi or cellular connections, one of the two?
Yeah, but
Yeah, just through like a Bluetooth, when you're, same thing, same way we program the speed sign.
Yep. So realistically, somebody else then has that responsibility. You can make that as detailed as they have to keep it washed. You can do whatever you want with it, but most importantly, let them sell the space. You can, we talked about if the banner or permanent banner around the sign is Manor Borough.
Well, let's try to get the sign here
His son.
first,
Yeah.
before we get into those specifics.
So are you amending your resolution for the two places, to look at the two places for the?
Yes, look into both.
And who seconded it?
We have the paperwork to
Dave
start.
seconded.
And you're agreeing to amend the amendment?
You want a roll call vote?
So, yeah, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Dawn Lynn,
Yes.
Mr. Cherry,
Yes.
Mr. Dornan,
Yes.
Mr. Gongaware.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Dave, what was?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Nemitz,
Yes.
Mr. Vaca,
Yeah.
motion carries unanimously.
Joe, did you get it? I tried to, I've done it twice for my cell phone and twice for my phone. And it's showing.
You should send it
Put
from the
in
app.
my request.
Okay, new business.
Wait,
Are we done with that?
Oh,
We
wait.
now, we still have
280 grand.
$300,000 to talk about. What are we gonna do?
Oh, I spent that.
What about the other
Can
$280,000?
you explain again about the purging into the general fund that we can't be spent between now and then? We still have,
You have to obligate the funds by December 31st.
well, is that, at one point, I thought that was an obligation to reimburse us for expenses.
No, once
Up to $1
again,
million.
I said this to you 3 meetings in a row. That was never how that was going to happen.
Okay.
If you ask me next month, I'm gonna be mad.
I probably will. Until that money is dispersed, I'm
just
gonna
can't
ask you
wait.
to send it into the general fund. Good. Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
See you next month.
Touche.
I'll give you, I might give you an answer by later this week, but I'm gonna do it right now, we guys talk.
Anybody hungry? I wanna order
Seriously, what
pizza.
about the other $280,000 that's on the table that we're gonna lose?
No, we're not gonna lose.
We're not gonna lose.
We're gonna lose it all.
How are we gonna use it?
Good question.
I got my list. Yeah, that only took them 4 years and not done till last minute.
Please,
Excuse me.
thank you.
I need to interrupt for a second. This nice lady has been waiting, and I hate, and I know you all are busy. She needs to go to give her son that's in a wheelchair medicine for his muscular dystrophy. He's 35 years old and has been waiting to talk. And the way this is going, you guys will be here for another hour and a half. She really just needs like 5 minutes of your time when she comes out. I'm sorry, but this is really important, and she can't stay because she's got to give him medicine. So if you could give her 2 minutes to get out what she has to when she gets back, I would really appreciate it.
That's
I
fine.
make a motion to step out of order and allow her to speak.
I mean, he's 35, she's tirelessly taken care of his whole entire life, and needs 5
Any
minutes.
other discussion? You're on.
Let's step out of order.
Who was it that won an Oscar or something and they were in the bathroom?
Item W, it's 14C still, and then.
Just stay up there.
And then we'll put it up. We were in the middle of a motion. We can't just stop the motion
What's the motion?
about.
Hold on. So everybody voted on the sign. Hold up.
Jeff.
Does anybody have any ideas right now? So we can either move on or we can't.
Yeah, I mean, we all
Does
discussed
anybody else?
months ago, when a bathroom, we all agree that some money's gonna go towards a bathroom. What it is, how it is, whatever, right? We kinda agree with that.
Yeah.
There's a sewage project going on right now, which we can. There's
Oh, we got
a
money for
sound system
sewage.
going on right now that can be used. Jerry, I don't know what we're gonna use it on, but there's projects that could be.
Well, how about hearing some projects from the people? What they want?
Yeah, I don't know.
Are we allowed to talk someday?
Well, this,
Instead
Can
of
we
3
let her
minutes?
talk for
Okay.
5 minutes,
So now,
please?
Chuck,
Yes,
now would be the time to say, to go out of order.
He did.
I'd like to make that motion again, to go out of order and allow her to speak.
Chuck made the motion, Dave seconded it. Okay, now.
All in favor?
Wait,
All in
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
Well, this is a perfect time for me to come tonight, because my son is one of your handicapped citizens that seems to be overlooked quite
She's
often.
talking. Yeah, tell her.
He's 36 years old with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. I believe I spoke to you.
Excuse me.
In the parking lot one time.
I need you to state your name.
Terry Trover, 211 Mount Pleasant Boulevard, Irvine.
Okay,
And this
thank
is
you.
You're welcome. This is in regards to the neighbor getting a fence in their front yard. That is 6 feet from his.
Could you speak up just a little bit,
6
please?
feet, can I come up and talk to you?
I'm fine with that, sure.
Because I'd like to see the pictures if you'd like to see. My neighbor, which I talked to Mr. Lappy about before, and I spoke to the chief briefly this summer, has got a fence in her front yard. Now, I guess my rendition of a front yard, your rendition are 2 different things. Now, it is a solid privacy fence where you cannot see. At the end of that privacy fence, she is 6 feet off the road to the mark. But she has a bush right in
That you
front.
can't see through.
Totally blocks my view. Tonight, the fence isn't even done. They're at the middle of the side of her yard. I guess you guys figure, I mean, to me, the front of a house, a front yard, is from the front of the house to the street. And you guys know the difference. So, today, it's not even done. I'm pulling out, calling her to see if she's ready to go. I'm almost hit. I don't load my son on Mount Pleasant Boulevard from my house because it's not safe. They come climb up the hill. Now, we had 2 signs put up approximately 2002, 2003, handicap person in the area. It was on the right-hand side of the road going up Mount Pleasant, and it was on the left-hand side at the crest of the hill. That's been taken down and gone, disappeared 10 years.
Buddy?
So I have nothing up there stating that my son's even in that neighborhood, and I don't even feel safe driving him around in that neighborhood anymore. He has Duchenne muscular dystrophy, he has no movement in his hands whatsoever. I'm going to drive him. So, I load him in the back. I'll invite every single one of you, you're more than welcome to come up to my house and see my son. I come out on the street, or out down my sidewalk, out on the street, and down my driveway. And that's where I load him. I've almost been hit with him this year because somebody's climbing the hill. I came down and complained because there was a bush that I could not see. And I knew she was getting the fence. Mr. Lapia had informed me that it was perfectly legal, through our yard, perfectly legal. So now, I have no vision whatsoever.
Not to interrupt, but I referred you to the chief who does code enforcement. I did not tell you the bush was perfectly legal. I referred you to the chief who does code enforcement.
I remember the coach, the chief was very kind and had suggested a blue loading sign at some point. He said that we don't do that anymore.
We don't do what?
Blue loading, right?
I suggested a handicap sign for loading.
I didn't say we don't do that.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I suggested that we post a handicap sign indicating it's a loading zone.
Right, and he said we don't do loading signs, right? What did you say?
We still have them throughout the town.
Yeah.
We don't have any loading zone signs that I'm aware of.
Well, first of all,
Handicap
the
parking.
two
We have handicap park, we have on-street handicap parking.
well, the two handicap signs that were there in the neighborhood has to be here somewhere. You guys
Where
don't-
They
did
disappeared about 10 years ago, and nobody ever saw them again, but there were two signs on
Well,
that
the thing
road.
is-
We've been here 38 years.
The thing is now, is that, I'm actually sure you guys pictures, if you want to see pictures, no one wants, like I said, to ride up. Every single one of you are allowed to pull up my driveway, and I will see you walk up that driveway, I don't know that road. Well, bring your kids or your grandkids, better yet. My son sits in a wheelchair. You would not be seen coming up that driveway. Now, and not only this, the way that you guys have now set up that you are allowed to put a privacy fence all the way up to the road, 6 feet in, you are going to have children get killed, and it's going to happen. New England Village is an old neighborhood, and you have old ones, and you have new people that are now moving in, young kids. You're going to have Mr. Joe across the street that says, you know what, I don't want Billy running in my yard anywhere to get the ball. I'm going to put a privacy fence up to the very end. Now that 5 or 6 or 7-year-old's gonna come flying out of that driveway, and anybody on that street coming in the opposite direction is not gonna see that child. And you're gonna have kids get killed. It's gonna happen. And it's gonna happen right up there in New England Village. If there was a hurricane fence or a wire fence, there's no problem. I can see. But with that bush there, and that solid fence all the way up to the road, 6 feet in,
Does that property have a sign? Do they have a sign permit to put that sign up, or that fence up? Do they have a fence permit?
They said they had a permit.
yep, they got the permit.
Joe, do they have a fence permit
They have the
in their front
permit.
yard? The neighbors she's talking about, do they have a fence permit, do you know?
Yeah, I mean.
Oh,
you
since I'm
told
not
me.
the building inspector,
I mean, it went past you at any time, do you know if there is one or not?
well,
We'll have to show
when,
you, there's the sign.
when she
And
came
actually
down,
today,
she
I
came down the
noticed
office that day, I contacted Jason just to verify everything. I explained it to her that he said they put in a permit, he approved the permit. If I'm remembering correctly, it's a 6-foot-high privacy fence until it gets to the corner of the house.
Nope.
No,
And then it's supposed to be 4 foot, I thought, from there towards the street, and it's only on the side.
My side of my driveway. Now, today, when I was coming up, I almost got hit going out. You see the
And,
one?
and
And
Miss-
my front end would have come out on the road.
and Mr. Kranehucker said it complies with your current fence ordinance.
Well, in just the picture that I see, the bush is actually in the right order.
Yep.
That's why I referred it to the chief for code enforcement.
Here's the front of my house, and that is her fence. Along that fence is my driveway. When you're-
You can't see through the tree. It totally obstructs. I walk it every day.
Well, I made her give me these chairs. Like I said, bring an easy chair. Yes, like I said, I've been working on it. One thing you gotta keep in mind. Not that you know
Kids are gonna get killed.
this week or last week.
They have a generator, they have a generator on the side, yeah. Has no power goes out.
Okay.
My son graduated 24. I thought maybe you knew.
Public safety. Terry,
He used to live in Great School. I was very.
why don't you go up with
If you were the PT, Golfer Alice.
We're trying to. Yeah, that's okay. With you being, public safety, you and or Dave, and up there to be able to view it and make an assessment on it first, please.
And what can they do about getting handicap signs back
Yeah,
up
that,
to the
I need a
bottom?
flashing light out in front of her bush there, a flashing light that there's a driveway. I literally cannot be safe. And my son's in a wheelchair. So when we go out, if he gets hit, I get hit. If he gets hit, he dies. If you talk about litigation, oh, you're gonna have litigation. You're going to have.
So if we're,
Okay.
And it's just, well,
Representative Dunmore,
It's-
I'm with, exactly.
I know.
so I'm gonna work with Joe and Chief and see if we can find a sign specifically that says slow handicap.
Yeah, and
So
hopefully,
we
flash-
can-
I mean, is there any way I can have a flashing light
We can
right
see what we
in
can
front of
do.
her bush so that people know there's a driveway?
So we can see, well, a hidden driveway sign, if it is hidden, we'll absolutely look at it.
I mean, I will happily show you.
I'm going to
And
send
it is definitely, I mean, there's my entrance on the road. See that pole right there? That is me almost getting hit. And it's done today. Okay, this is me driving there. Now, I can't see any of the road. The house is Nobody will see me driving in that.
Let me see if we can find some signs. Hang on, can you give me my number? Can you send me that?
Tony,
Yeah.
I'm going to have.
Can I ask you one more question?
Safety.
When's the building
Hang on,
permit
1 minute,
posted
Chuck.
at that property?
I am asking public safety, which is Dave Gungware is a member of, and Terry Nimitz is the chairman of, to go up with the chief, look at the site, and then some of us may, go up just of our own accord. You're more than welcome, but you can't have more than 3 council members together at one time.
That's fine. And each and every one of you, you are more than welcome to pull up to my driveway, park in the back, and walk up. You will not be seen. You will not be seen.
You mean because I'm too short?
Yes.
I'm well under
Yes.
6 foot.
But, and that some of you told us, but you were more than welcome to come up, and please come up different times of the day. Come up with us.
How about rush hour traffic?
So, we are, going to send up, and between the 3 of them, okay? We will do everything that we can.
Thank you. My son just turned 36 years old, the day that I was down here, it was his birthday. He has Duchenne muscular dystrophy. I fought to
Would
keep
you
him
be able-
alive this long. I'm not
Not
gonna
gonna
fall
lose
to
them
the
ever.
Would you be okay if they put NASCAR lines and the cops sat in their driveway?
Absolutely.
But
I might probably
that's
have
not
all,
gonna
but they can't
change,
see them.
that's not gonna change the fact that you
That they
can't
can't
see.
see.
Yeah,
So that's more like
Yeah,
just
we
a
would
good
do
thing,
that,
it's not
that's
gonna
fine,
change anything
but that's not-
because
yeah, that's
you just
not-
can't see, that's.
Coming out, the tree completely lost
See
it.
the cop there, it slows them down.
Yeah, but he's not gonna be there all the time unless you're staying for dinner.
If you cook it with them.
Depends on what you're having.
I'm just telling you. Okay, so,
Okay, I would like to have this addressed as being like.
I'll do it tomorrow, first thing tomorrow morning.
Just put up, I mean, And it's only half the fence, and I'm
Chief.
already almost there.
I also would like you to get with the.
More after that?
Mr.
Whatever you wanna do, sir.
For the police chief to get with Terry, I almost said that, yeah. Terry and Dave up at the property, and that we do.
We're already working on going up to tomorrow.
Tomorrow afternoon.
I know, but I want it on record also,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? Thank you.
And I definitely am on record, right, because that's what I need to do. I want to be on record.
Okay.
Thank you for
Thank
letting
you
her
for your
speak.
time. Thank you for letting me talk.
Thank you.
What you are talking about. What you are doing. Yeah, that's not like that idea. Yeah.
I mean, it's just a warning.
Okay. So, no, we're going, do I have a motion to go back to regular order?
So,
Okay. Any questions or comments on it? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you. All right, so the next, thing is new business, and it's discussion and or deliberation and or official action on appointing a borough resident to fill the position of mayor. Now, Ms. Dawson already, spoke. If you'd like to add to what you had said earlier.
No, I think I'm
Okay.
good, unless anybody has
And-
questions.
I'm sorry,
I said I'm good unless anybody has any questions.
I don't for you at this time. Does anyone else have questions for Ms. Dawson? Okay, so, Mr. Brandt, you want to come up to the podium?
I'm
and-
fine. I think I spoke with most of you, except for a couple of you guys over here, and I think you all know where I stand and how I feel.
Right, but can you kind of stand up and give us a little?
I can, yeah, I can say the same thing again. Hello, my name is Louis Brand. I'm a 28-year resident of Borough Manor, and I'm standing here before you today to ask for your nomination for the position of mayor. Over the last, I think, 10 years, I've been a volunteer for the zoning hearing board, along with my volunteer time with the Penn Trafford Basketball Association. Coached maybe some of your kids, very possible. Besides coaching, also ran the league as a director. My background in business, I worked for Martin's Famous Bakery Shop for 15 years as a sales manager and district manager for Western Pennsylvania, Cleveland, Ohio, and Morgantown, West Virginia. And I was tasked with managing a little over a $5 million territory on a yearly basis, which really I think helps me in this position here, understanding, you know, money, understanding managing people, understanding working with the public. So I'm here today asking for your consideration for the position.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Frida, can we ask you a couple questions?
Absolutely, yes.
In the borough code, it explains about a mayor. Are you aware of some of that? It kind of,
Some of it.
you know, the position of what it is? And then, I think there's two types of mayors in small town. One is one who gets involved with their police department that kind of just helps and makes sure that what they need works, report back to council, all those things. The other one wants to come in and basically shake things up and change the way they work and all that. If you could be considered one, which one would you be?
I'd be considered both.
Do you think the police department needs, some restructuring?
What do you mean by restructuring?
I mean, if you're gonna come in, let's say you come in and if you have the knowledge of our police department now, and you feel to be mayor, and I'm not trying to put any words in your mouth. If you feel that there is some issues at the police department you'd like to come in and change, and as mayor you could. Is that something that concerns you?
When you say issues, what do you mean by issues, sir?
That's what I'm saying, I don't know that you have any. I'm not-
Right, so it's hard for me to answer that question without knowing what you're referring to. If you're referring to the lack of staff, absolutely, I think that's something that needs to be addressed, not just by me, that should be a concern for each one of you up here, because you're all residents of the borough. So I think that's a concern for everybody. So yes, that's probably one of my biggest tasks, is to help him get staff. I don't believe that there's things that need to be changed that I know of. I mean, if you know things.
No, you're
you
doing
might tell
perfect.
us.
Sometimes I can push the button, that's exactly what I'm looking for, is what you just said. What you wanna do to help him get
Oh,
staff,
absolutely.
things like that. yeah.
That's the most important thing. That's, for the next year and a half, there's not a whole lot of time left in this term. So whatever I can do to help him get staff, that's the number one goal.
Any other questions for Mr. Brown? Then what are the wishes of council for filling the position of mayor?
Get up here.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Louis Frank as mayor.
Okay, I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Who seconded it?
David.
Okay, thanks, Sarah.
Sorry, what did you guys just say?
We didn't hear that, I'm
We-
sorry.
We didn't hear.
We didn't hear what the motion was. I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Nemens made a motion to nominate,
Appoint.
or appoint,
Mr.
I'm
Brandt.
sorry. Thank you, Mr. Brandt for mayor. So, and Dave Gondaware seconded it, and so now, any additional questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Lynn,
Yes.
Mr. Cherry,
Yes.
Mr. Dornan,
Yes.
Mr. Gongaware,
Yes.
Mr. Nemitz,
Yes.
Mr. Vaca.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. We can have our administrative assistant, the notary, she can swear Mr. Brandt in at this time.
Do you want to be sworn in right now? Absolutely.
Okay, because the other option is what at the magistrate's office, right?
Bring him into the.
Yeah.
Hang on a second.
Don't wait yet.
Yep,
Do I move back?
you move back, yeah. You can sit there and finish the meeting, you don't have to, it doesn't.
You mind?
See, but now you run the meeting.
I want you to say.
Good old boys club.
It's
Come
up
on,
to
can't you
Tony.
give me
I-
one thing nice?
No.
One thing?
I do like the one. Ed's super nice.
Well, as long as you give them candy,
I am.
and then we take them in the
He doesn't like your mints no more, I got the good stuff.
Oh, well. Wait a minute, I haven't responded for you. Huh? Look, there's my response to you. Mr. President.
Yeah, I'm ready to be great.
Before you do that, sign this first.
Nearly on the end.
Christine comes back. No, you can stay there. I am gonna stay. Just
Now Tony can go home and go to bed.
He's
up past his bedtime.
Repeat after Christina, she'll read the
Yay, Christine. Oh, Oh, stick that gavel.
Excuse me,
Jeez.
from way out of order.
No, you're
We're
out
trying
of
to get
order.
him
Quit
some-
banging stuff.
We're trying to get him sworn in.
It's gonna get sworn in.
All right, let him have it.
I, Louis Brandt,
I, Louis Brandt,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth.
and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
I will discharge the
Duties.
duties of my office
With fidelity.
with fidelity. Go ahead. All right, go ahead.
Use the sign, sir.
Yes, nice, nice.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna stay next time.
Okay, so, Joe.
Yes, she is.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. All right,
All right,
we're moving on, kids.
let's roll.
Discussion and deliberation and or official action on a conference table and podium for council meeting. What are the wishes of council?
I couldn't hear part of what you said.
Ready? Discussion and or deliberation and or official action on a conference table and podium for council meetings. What are the wishes of council?
I would like you to report before we make a motion.
Okay?
You're sitting with the newspaper. This cardboard, that is the length of them and actually telling you where you were sitting, is about where that end seat is.
Nope, I'm sitting on the end.
Yeah, he is sitting on
Side, is that end.
Yeah, I would be sitting in the corner.
Yes. So there is 4 seats there, 6 seats.
You would be sitting.
Sonny would not be on the table.
Yeah, I'm on the table.
Yeah. We'll look at the space. What you're doing here, right there, is where the 2 tables are. The 2 legs are, see them? Tables on one side and 2 legs.
I'm on the corner, right here,
Yes.
He is indeed.
and Sonny's off.
Yeah, look at the space between Ed and Christine. That's because there's 2 legs. Those legs wouldn't be there. They'd be a lot closer. They'd be like all the rest of us. Look over here. We're there. I'm actually too far down.
Now, if the zoning officer was here,
Look, this is what you asked for at the last meeting.
I know,
This is
but,
exactly what we wanted, but we're not sure it's big enough. I
right,
guess is what I'm trying to tell you.
visually, we asked you to mark it, so that we have enough there.
Visually, it's right here.
I know, but unfortunately, my visual was that one, right?
Do you know how much bigger this is than what was there?
Yeah.
It's a lot bigger.
Yeah.
You're at the end down there, Jim.
Right, I am literally on the
Dave
corner.
is about 3 or 4 feet from the end over here. And look how many people are there. That leaves us
If
with,
you think it's big enough, I'm fine with it, Chuck.
yeah, I mean, we measured it out from what we discussed the last time.
Is he gonna sit on the end there? Is that what you just
Yeah,
said?
he'll be further, he could be further down here.
And where are you gonna be sitting?
I'll probably be right about here.
And where are you 2 gonna have room for your paperwork?
That's it, Mr. Nimitz.
I need a side table.
I know, I know.
That's exactly right.
Just my opinion of looking at it, this seems fine this way, but it seems this way was a little short.
Well, again, these 2 are split by 2 legs. See the legs under there?
You know, and I see.
That's pushing these 2 apart, pushing him this way, which puts Mike right at the head.
Okay.
This is how much money.
Okay, like that kind of thing.
I don't, let me say this. I don't understand what more space we need. I really don't care. If we need 10 more feet on each side, I don't care, we'll put it on there.
I think it's, when you look at the cardboard, you know how everybody's sitting at the table. Because it doesn't make it look like those are quite long. These little ones, and like I said, it could be two sides of the table, maybe later on after.
Look at the 4 people sitting over there.
If I may,
There's a chair in between them, there's double lanes between
No,
them.
it's still.
If all that was out,
There's a space right there between Joe and Bob,
If I may.
which would be there.
They have council chambers, their seats touch each
That's
other.
what
So
I
you
said.
guys
Each a
get a
pass
little
apart.
closer, and I think you fit. I'm
Your
just-
baby bottom.
I
I
just want you
don't
to
mind
know.
that on one side, but that ain't on the other side of that wall.
well, you have to keep in mind, there's also conversation about how much of the room it would take out. The reality is, it doesn't take out a lot of room in here. We can't fit everybody that we wanted. The new budget on this is $12,000. That's the original plan.
Yeah.
But if you do that, trying to get out, I think it was brought up about trying to fit somewhere here. It used to be 144 feet, or 144 inches. Now it is,
So let me ask you that. What are the wishes of council?
Is it permanent?
I'll make a motion.
It's permanent. It's permanent.
I forgot my
it is
wall.
unless you want to alter it,
Every
wheels
wheel's
on.
down there.
We're gonna move this big massive thing. What?
It's big enough, but we're gonna be shoulder to shoulder.
You're not gonna have room to spread your paper and stuff. Pretty solid.
You've been here 30 seconds.
And hold off on the strong, climate.
Just saying.
So, I made a motion.
No, you said you're gonna make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
He said, hold up.
I make a
So-
motion to accept the bid of $12,000 from the Kirby Cabinetry.
Where is, we
Build
got,
out this, excuse me,
we don't even have that in front of us.
have what?
12,000.
But last month it was 9,000.
Yeah, last,
He'll bring us a bid, yes. That's his number.
What do you mean?
Didn't you provide us with,
The original one was less money.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
last
but-
one was half the size of this.
right,
Right, so we don't have a new bid now, is what I asked. Do we have a bid to look at?
I don't have a written bid now.
You can have for below 12,600, you can have no formal bidding, just written or telephonic quotation. So
Three.
it sounds like you got a telephonic quotation for
We
$12,000.
need three. Right.
No, that's for 12,600 to 23,200, you
Yeah.
need three.
That's right.
So
It's the same guy we talked about all along.
you just added
The guy
more.
across the street.
you just, because it expanded in
Right.
size.
Okay.
The money
Yeah, last
expanded.
time it was 8,900 including the podium, now it's 12,000 including the podium.
So it is absolutely 12,000.
Yep.
So if you're gonna make your, whoever's making the motion, which I'm not sure who did it.
Well, I'll let it go with
I
Chuck.
have one question. Well, I'm trying to increase the cost, but when he does this, is it possible, like if you know where, like the seats are gonna be in front of that, to have him put like a slot for the name tags to go in? Something that we can just slide them in, so they're not taking up room, since you may already be.
Actually, I bet he'll probably throw it in here if we ask him for you could put 2 moldings.
Yeah,
One out here, one here.
I'm just talking in front of it, so it wouldn't be taking.
I was talking about here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Table is out of gold with your names.
Well,
Well, just a thought.
Yeah, no, I can tell him that, you know, something we can do, he knows, he'll know what he's doing.
We can get things.
And it would give us a little more data.
We can.
It's gonna be fun, Judy.
Chuck made the motion and
Yes.
Okay, any further comments or questions?
to not exceed.
How long will?
To not exceed.
No, you can't talk when they're talking.
12,000.
Hold on. What was, you guys are all talking, she needs to be able to hear the motion.
Yeah, come,
Your motion, please.
Listen.
I'm
What was
aware of
the-
that.
What was the motion? Please, Chuck.
Go ahead.
To accept the proposal of $12,000 from McCurdy Cabinetry to build the, console table as laid out on the floor.
That's 12,000 even.
Yes.
Do you get that, Christina?
I'll second the motion, but I want to make sure that it's stated it's not to exceed 12,000.
Will you amend your?
I will amend to that, not to exceed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further comments or
I want
questions?
wheels on it. I got a question.
18 or 20 inches.
Pastor, that's.
24-inch chrome wheels.
Well, Dave, my question is kind of about the wheels, but it doesn't necessarily have wheels, but how many pieces is it in? So that if we had like furniture movers, that we could put it on the furniture mover and slide it away? Is it one big piece?
It's
or
three
is it-
pieces, but he will bolt that so you can take the bolt out and take a wing off and move them, yes.
You know about the slides.
You just need,
Yeah,
you need
you know
four
how
guys to pick it up, put it on
Yeah,
your
4 foot
furniture.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many pieces? I'm sorry?
He said 3, but they're bolted together.
So 1, 2, 3? or-
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is gonna be one big.
Yeah, he's gonna build it right here. He'll build it here. He won't build it over there and bring it across the street.
Oh, something over there. Yeah, he'll go.
But can this be done in maybe 2 pieces here?
We just think of moving
That's,
forward.
that's a logistic issue for him, but I don't see a reason why.
I just don't know where we moved it to.
It's very.
Well, I don't know, I think it'd be easier to move 2 6-foot pieces than 1 12-foot piece.
It would, but where are you thinking we'd move it to?
Over here in the corner.
We can't block that door, we can't block those doors for table access.
I mean, good once you got the tables out, but.
All right.
And
Do
then
whatever
with
you
the art
want.
money, we should get new chairs.
That's a whole nother subject.
Seriously, I think you need high chairs, but.
Okay. We need chairs. Any further comments or questions?
Go vacation with Chuck Cherry.
Bonnie, we'll call this,
Did you see him on a cruise line or something?
It's up to you. I
He
think
complained about
so.
Okay, so
They throw him over the side.
You can call it, but because of
They look like an accident.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye. It was
Dave.
Dave, one name, Christina Dave.
The motion carries. Discussion and deliberation and official action on purchasing welcome to Manaboro signs. What are the wishes of council?
I will make the motion to purchase the 5 signs and 10.
How many? How many?
5.
5 signs?
Yes,
We talked about,
Brian?
we talked about 10 signs, that would give us, those 9 locations that are on the paper and 1 extra just in case something gets crunched. And, if we buy 5 or more, it was 1 price, and then we also have to purchase the post kits for
Right,
each sign, which we need 2
Two
per
of
sign.
right. I make the motion to accept that.
I'll second.
Any comments or questions?
I'm not done.
To purchase the signs.
What?
10. Any comments or
What's
questions?
your favorite color, Lord?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Discussion and deliberation and or official action on advertising interest in a veteran banner.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Any comments or questions?
Yeah, how we advertise
How we paying
it,
for
just asking.
it? Good question.
Or how do you want to advertise it?
You wanna expound on that, Jim? Well, I wanna put it in, the paper.
Website.
Website.
I think it's already on the website. Can we put it on the website? I don't understand about the veteran banner, or not? Okay.
So,
Manor Legion was signed down here.
Where?
So I'd like
Post
to get it
office.
out as many places we can, and see what kind of
Post
interest we
office.
get.
So it's at the post office? Sign at the post office?
Post office,
Something
on
posted
bulletin
there.
board.
You get the flyer, I'll put it up at the office.
Yep.
Maybe if we can get a flyer made.
I'll take 4 of them,
Do you
Jim.
think this is any good?
Any further comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and or deliberation and or official action on installation of outdoor basketball system for sports court.
We talked about this briefly at the last meeting and was asked to put on the agenda for consideration to have Jeffrey Associates put those up. We approximated around $2,000 if Public Works did the work, but I don't know what their comfort level is, and after talking to Mike Jeffrey, I mean, it's a little more involvement. You can read the memo, basically it spells out what he told me. There's some critical measurements and things as far as getting this just right, and I would feel more comfortable if we had somebody that installs these on a regular basis do it, since we've never installed one in-house.
I make a motion, we move forward with it.
I'll second that motion.
Any further comments or questions?
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it on the table that I don't understand. Now, how much are we spending on this? Is it this last bid we got? The 8,000, the 6,000, which one is it?
Well, the installation, we've already agreed to purchase them. It's just, this is
Oh, I'm
just the
sorry.
installation we're
Yeah,
talking about.
sorry.
Just for the basketball systems is $3,700.
Yeah, $3,700 to install 2 basketball hoops. And we're already paid for poles and everything. This is just.
We ordered them.
Okay, so this is just to get the auger out, drill the hole, put supports around the pole, fill the hole with concrete, and when it's set, put the hoop.
Good call, Bill.
And
But
I-
it's not just drilling a hole, I mean, it's a 3 foot by
It's a-
3
it's
foot
a
by
bas-
4 foot deep hole.
No, it's a basketball.
It says in here, it needs a 3 by
Well,
Well,
these are
that's
3
actually
by-
an installer who wants to do the job. You can probably find in every neighborhood somebody who'll install a basketball hoop.
I can show you people in this plan that paid several $1,000s to put up basketball hoops in their yards and portable hoops and everything else, have a contractor come in and do it. I mean,
That's beyond my understanding. It really is. I mean, when you have the understanding is not so much that the resident, we have a maintenance department. We can't get the, auger that does the 4 foot hole.
Chuck, we allocated so much money for it anyway because we had to rent some stuff. So in reality, we're not paying the whole 37 because we allocated,
I mean, it would cost us around $2,000 if we did it in-house.
so really you're paying $1,700 more.
And the cost of materials and paying the hourlies on the maintenance people.
No, I didn't factor in their hourly wages. That's just renting a lift and concrete and forms, lumber for forms.
What lift do you need to get the roof up?
I gotta get up there to hold the backboard in place to secure it.
Our machines can't get,
Wood machines, we have a backhoe.
I don't know if I would trust that.
I'm not letting them work out of the bucket of a backhoe.
No.
No.
That's not.
Absolutely not, that's not safe at all.
What's wrong with that?
no, that's what picks up the hoop,
Yeah, that's against their.
is the bucket.
Yeah. Well, they still gotta get up there to attach it.
Like a ladder?
You're gonna lean it on the post, it's not cured yet?
Well, you're not putting that up, and you're not putting that up to go secured anyway. I just, you know, I'm just that way, look, I always look at it. How do we get exactly what we need without throwing so much money at
How
it?
much money is that
It's
saving us? Like,
it's convenience more than reality.
I don't know, a couple $1,000.
So- So, they're gonna be putting the benches and stuff together, which is gonna save us the installation that we already agreed to do for that. So technically, it's not, we're kinda offsetting a bit. So we're gonna do the installation and building of the benches. We're asking him then to do the basketball hoop. Oops.
You mean he was supposed to be doing the benches before?
Yeah, I thought,
He gave us a quote for everything, installation, but you didn't,
We
you only motioned to buy the stuff, because we said we could definitely do the benches and the picnic
I
tables.
don't remember.
And this was just a question back and forth with the,
That was mine, right out the block.
you know,
You know, they do the benches in town. They have some for wheelchairs.
Okay, I'm not gonna ask you more about it, I think that's what
Benches.
Okay, so,
Where are they gonna put the benches?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No,
Motion carries. Discussion and deliberation and or official action on purchasing a broom attachment for the bench rack.
What's the bench?
No.
Oh.
Yes, it's something I've kicked around with Public Works a little bit, so I don't know if you all know, we have a piece of equipment that's called a bench rack, and we use it for mowing, but there's other attachments that can go on it. We mow the pond, we mow the ball field, the park with.
Yeah.
There's a
Well,
broom
they'll
attachment
Monday
for
or
the front of it.
Tuesday.
Is that looks like an 8-wheeled thing?
Yes.
They cut the grass with?
Yes,
It's like a-
so.
So this is
motor
not
deck-
going on a truck?
No, it's going on that, and the reason being is, we can use that for multiple things. One, if we're street project or something, if we need to clean debris off the street, we can use it in the winter, as long as there's not a heavy snowfall to clear sidewalks, and also to be able to clear the track over in the park. So if people wanna go over there and use the track and walk, you know, when puller out, we can use that. So it would come in and pretty handy. We can use it, you know, doing some stuff in the parking lots, you know, places that, you know, sweeping those up too. So it would be like a multi. It'd be used for a lot of different things.
how wide is it?
52 inch.
Yeah,
52 inch.
52 inches.
So will it offset our expense to have our streets swept in the spring?
I don't know if it could do that because it's not gonna, it won't
Not gonna pick it
pick
up.
up the debris. I mean, we can certainly augment the street sweeping with that in places where maybe the street sweeper can't get in, where they can get in with that and push stuff to where the street sweeper can get it. But like right now, I'll give you an example, we're installing that storm pipe up on Brandywine Drive, you know, and just between the stone and the dirt and everything, it would be very beneficial up there to have that, you know, just to sweep the road off the ditch line, along the ditch line at the end of the day.
How does it get there from the maintenance building?
We have a trailer that we, yeah, it's right there on, even when we got the ponds and stuff.
They have them in Trafford.
No, I'm not lucky enough to have
They're expensive, they're nice equipment, so.
Yep. So what are the wishes of council?
64 hours.
I'll make the motion
Second
to purchase the broom attachment for the dump truck.
Is that installed?
No, I mean, it's just, you just need a couple, sometimes it's up to it. It's just like a motor attachment off and putting it on. They'll deliver it, they'll show us how to hook it up and everything.
Nobody's gonna ask $1 million question.
Any comments or questions?
You mean the number?
Well, where's it coming from?
Oh.
Any comments or questions?
Jim asked, Mike. No, I was asking you if you guys wanted to do that.
I do, general fund.
I mean, we have some money,
Sure, fund.
we have some money in small tools and equipment, there's money in capital expenditures. There's,
Yes, ARPA's better choice.
So, one of the places, when Joe brought this up to me, we have the cell phone tower. And we get money every month for that. And this is a perfect thing where we can take out of there.
Okay. Do we need to amend the motion?
No.
Okay.
Any further comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries.
Public Works Department, thanks you.
Yeah, you know that guy that used to do this all day?
He's right thanking us.
That's
He
what I'm
better be
talking-
thanking us.
That's
We've been doing it for 2 weeks up on that project.
Yeah.
Discussion and consideration and or official action on hiring a part-time police officer.
Well, I'm in favor of hiring a part-time police officer, where we're gonna find one.
So
I'll make a motion, we hire a part-time police officer.
I'll second it.
My last official act as mayor is Rich Grandy, well, okay, sorry, Sonny. As the former mayor, Rich Grandy had reached out and said he was interested in being part-time here when he retires. So until he retires, we can get the process moving, so when he does retire, he can move right in. And my goal was to help, hopefully have a full-timer, get another part-timer, and have him staffed by the beginning of the year. So that way we're good. This is one step.
Well, like you said, let me ask a question. It seemed that our part-time enrollment previously, before the chief came, was they got so few hours that they just went somewhere else.
Well,
So,
that was only for one or 2 years, Chuck. Normally, we had three full-time and 4 part-time. Then at one point in time, we had 4 full-time, and we still had the part-time, but with 4 full-time, there was only 1 shift left a week. Unless somebody called off sick or had vacation to cover. So then, they didn't really have a need for as much part-time hours.
yeah,
But we also had, over the years, people on the part-time roster for years that never worked a day.
yeah,
Or
exactly,
worked a day.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
so, but that's the answer to your question. but
Yeah, so
now
is the
the,
plan now to be able to entice a part-time, to give him enough hours to make him wanna come? And is that, what is the chances these part-time have the available time, as you just said about a retired, someone retiring? That from time to time, they can pick up an entire week or 2 full-time, so you have issues like vacation, you know. I mean, is that the goal? Is the goal to get part-timers that take bigger chunks of time and are also available to do more?
My goal was to give him the ability to supplement his full-timers.
Yeah.
So whatever that takes, whatever they need to do. But right now, we're down,
we have 1 full-time.
we have 1 full-time.
Yeah.
And you're looking at.
Well, we have two, but Haley's on.
Well,
She's hurt. So,
yeah, she's on medical.
so I think the ideal thing, in the way it's budgeted, we have budgeted for 3 full-time.
No, Bob's part-time.
Well,
Yeah,
we're
I
not
talked to him
budgeted,
last
we're
Sunday.
budgeted for 3 full-time. but then
Yeah, I know. I call him
overall, we budget
California
for
Bob.
21 shifts. Run officer.
So does that give you, those part-timers will get good shifts.
Yeah, right, there's nobody down there.
And that's why,
So
when he
just
became
makes-
the chief, we asked him to go 4 or 3, we go for the part-timers really go 20,
So
right?
you won't have it.
So we kept the budget with 3 so that you can have some part-timers and have some shifts, right? So that if somebody gets hurt, somebody goes on vacation, you have part-timers.
So you'd wanna have 3 full-time, 2 part-time?
No.
Well, probably 3, 4.
But how many shifts are you gonna give, like, if we were to say, okay, we hire, and I think I make.
So there's 21 shifts, if you have 3 full-timers, right, that's 15 shifts.
So you have
So then you would
6
have
shifts.
6.
To divide up between.
4 part-timers.
And usually those guys are gonna give you 1 or 2 a week.
We need 4 part-time people.
Probably.
Ideally.
Well,
Ideally.
4 is good if they're all gonna work shifts, but when you have people on the roster that don't work any shifts, then.
Hey,
Just a question, say like a full-time guy marks off his shift for, he's sick that day. Where do they go to fill? Do they go to the full-timers first
So by,
or part-timers?
by contract,
Yes.
by contract, the full-timers get offered a shift first.
Okay.
By seniority. And then if none of them take, then they can go to the part-time. Oh, that's what the contract is. What? Yeah. Yeah, I'm kidding. You wanna print it or email? Cause I'll get your, we'll get your email set up tomorrow.
Sorry, Terry.
It's okay, as long as we're all on the same.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That doesn't have to be a
Roll call.
roll call. No. Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and deliberation and official action on approving renewal of employee health insurance with UPMC.
Yeah, you have the front, just, you have the front sheet in front of you, I'm sorry, and it's a 3.5% increase for next year, which is about what we've been getting the last 2 years.
I make a motion to go with it. I'll second it.
Any comments or questions?
Yeah, I've got one. In the general budget, 2024 numbers increased, oh, no, I'm sorry, wrong one. This is the wrong one. Sorry, general liability.
Huh?
Delete. Any further comments or questions?
Mayor Ed came at 4 o'clock,
All those in favor?
but I was.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Discussion and deliberation and or official action on the draft 2025 budget. What are the wishes of council?
This is with respect, you don't have to pass it. Preliminary.
Does anybody have any questions of that? On the budget so far?
I am trying to find it yet. Hey, Jim.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm looking at, or trying to find, or whatever, is to, like to put a line item in. Now, this is only good for 1 year, right? And this goes away, and we have to create next year, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So for this year, I'd like to see if we could put one line item in there for the purchase of one new portable police radio this year. And then maybe next year, put one in for that year until we get a couple more, because we still have 3 pretty bad ones down there.
I thought it was only a couple of years ago, they bought like 4 new ones.
3.
You only got one guy working the shift.
We're gonna have more.
You're not gonna have more than one guy
No, you're
working the
not
shift.
gonna have more.
No. But as I explained before, and I know me and you have discussed this, a lot of them put them in their vests and stuff like that, and run them through and everything like that. My point being is, you keep taking them on and off every shift out of that. That's how all them microphones down there, how the wires got busted and everything else in them.
Well, you can buy, it's a lot cheaper to buy a microphone than it is a brand new radio.
Yeah, but then it also keeps up with the technology every year too, with the 911 side. It's a request.
What, do you know what the cost is of the new radio?
About $2,500.
Oh, why don't you buy 10?
Because we do have, it's only 1,000 in miscellaneous equipment.
Save your thumb. I'll make cookies on my grill.
Yeah, but do you?
Bake them.
Have a meeting.
Is that meeting getting given to the answer you were just looking for?
No?
What are we doing?
I think they're discussing about
Jim was asking me a question. about-
Terry's.
Okay.
Like at the circus.
No, we
I
weren't.
see them on the clouds.
I mean, we could take for a radio, you could take it out of Act 13 money if you had to.
I'm sorry, which one?
Act 13.
Oh, okay.
Well,
That's fine.
ask Senator Ward.
It's just something I think we need to do so that, we have newer, better ones, and then eventually they can get retired, and then once they get retired, we can pass them on to, like, the DPW.
Well, I think moving forward,
No, but police got.
these are things that have to be talked about as part of a capital
What we said.
spending plan. X, how many radios do you need in the department? What's their life cycle? And how often do you have to replace them instead of just,
The only problem with how often you have to replace them is technology is outrageously quick. So sometimes, some things that you buy today, cell phones and stuff, by the time we get them in our hands, the technology
But that doesn't
is
mean,
old.
that doesn't mean they still don't work and they function properly. You don't have to have the new.
They do as long as 911 doesn't decide to change something up there. Yeah, they are talking about going to phase 3, and I don't know how that's gonna affect the radio.
Any other comments?
Yes. Under revenues, page 2, licenses and permits. Zoning permit fees have not changed. Building permits dropped by $5,000, which is 25%.
That's, we based that on, the answer, but if you remember, this year was the first year where we, were collecting all the permit fees and paying everything out, and we switched. So we made an educated guess on where we thought those revenues would be. They're not there this year, they're a lot lower. So we adjusted this based on
So the year
what
to
we have
date,
coming in, and that's why I gave you the January to September expense budget versus actual. That's what we looked at.
so the year to date is supporting this, that revenue.
Yes. Year to date. So, year to date, building permit fees are 11,675. They're only 58% of what we budgeted, so that's why we put it about 15 instead of 20 for next year, and that's based on, the trend we're seeing where we're not, talking to the building inspector, he's not getting, that significant number of permits to process, and typically in the fourth quarter of the year, your building permits slow down. People aren't building things.
Well, realistically, building permits are, the volume is always determined by interest rates. The interest rates are down, people build. They build houses, they do additions, they go out and they buy whatever they may have to finance to do their improvements. We're in a election year that, listening to what they say out there, the chances of interest rates dropping are pretty good. And if that's the case, we may not realize these numbers, they may be higher.
Well, that doesn't
So
really.
I can put 40 grand in there and never hit that budget.
Right, it may.
It's a guess, right?
Right, I understand that.
We don't know.
If building permit fees
You know, I
are
said
higher.
this the last 2 years in a row.
Right.
I like to see year-to-dates. I do budgets for my corporations anyway, and every
Right.
time I do,
So we're basing it
I
on
see a
year-to-date.
year-to-date, and when I look at the year-to-date and I say, yes, that's gonna fit, because look what we did this year.
Right.
But if we don't know that here, that's.
Well, you have it in front of you.
No, I'm not saying I don't have it. But if we didn't have it, we have nothing to compare to. It's probably the best tool we have. And I agree, this is a budget, we can change it if we need it next year.
I mean,
You know, line item by line item, whatever
you
needs.
can't change it. Once budget, you can't change it.
No, we can,
You
do
can't
it in
change it.
January.
For the next budget.
That's only in a municipal election. You can only reopen the budget in a municipal election year.
In January.
Correct.
Which next year, this year, and
I
next
thought that was
It'll be
every
20
January.
this-
But I mean,
It has to be
even
an
if we-
election year when you have new people in there.
Even if we collect more
That's what
revenue
the underlying reason.
than we budget for, we're still gonna get more revenue, but our corresponding expenses are gonna be higher too.
They are, which that's my next question. So with that change, the expenses are actually dropped, are changed as well. So the budget for building permits, you showed it 15,000, but yet the expense will be 11.
Well, because we had expense of 15 this year.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you're expecting the revenues to be for building permits 15,000, we're expecting to collect 4,000, but on the backside, at 11,000 expenses. Am I missing something there?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
Our expenses, if our revenues, if this came true, and our revenues are $15,000, on the same line item in expenses, it's only 11,000.
Correct. That's the expenses that we pay out.
Right. So we expect on that percentage to get $4,000 in revenue.
Yes.
To retain $4,000 on 15.
Do we what?
We retain $4,000 on 15 in building permits.
Well, that's a guesstimate based on
Yeah.
numbers of this year.
That's what I'm saying. If we're staying at 15,000 in 2025 in revenues for building permits.
Right, because we pay a percentage.
11,000 is what we expect to have to pay out. We'll keep
Roughly,
40,000.
we pay a percentage to the building inspection company, plus, there's certain things they get 100% of, like plan review, if there's any plan review, so. Yeah.
Okay. The next thing, and last thing is for Parks and Recreation, this $10,000 for Community Day, are you expecting to get, I mean, that's that's under, expenses. Expenses or revenues? Where'd you put that?
It's under expenses, under Parks and Recreation, there's a separate line item for Community Day.
Yes, 10,000.
Correct.
Who's still on the Community Day?
We're working on it. Mr. Vaca requested that go in the budget.
Really?
We're working on it.
You're gonna work on it? All right.
Just put it in there for discussion. If we don't want it, we have till December, we can take it out.
Or if it stays there and you don't have a Community Day, that
You just don't, you don't have that expense?
Or real fired up to do things, they may spend.
Well, now that would be, you'd have to.
But this is not grant money, it's 10,000, correct?
Right.
No.
Okay, right. So, okay.
But you still have 3,500 budgeted for community
Yes.
events, separate from that.
Yeah, that's all they need.
Yeah, well, that's what they said.
Yeah, because everything should be, revenue generated events anyway. Thank you.
Okay. So I got something to add.
Go ahead.
I mean, luckily, I mean, you see we got a $26,900 carryover from last year. So with that, we're only upside down $3,961, which we could probably easily trim and balance the budget right now if we really had to.
But you're required to balance it,
Yeah.
expenses
Yeah.
versus revenue.
Yep.
So we're more than that.
But I'm just
upside down.
saying, we would balance the budget. Couple things, what I'm kind of concerned about down the road is, what I don't want to have happen, we haven't raised taxes, and I don't like raising taxes,
Yeah.
but we haven't raised taxes in 7 years, I think it is. So I think we should start thinking about maybe a slight increase at some point, maybe just a half a mil.
No, use ARP funds.
Jerry will kick in a mil for herself.
Bullshit.
So kick in $1 million.
$1 million, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
on the
no,
ARP
$1 million.
funds.
You know, just something past my time here. I don't want to see the borough get into where we have to say, hey, we need a 3 mil tax increase. You know, we've been able to do this the right way, but I don't want to see it at some point not be able to do it. That being said, one of the things that was requested the fire department was trying to get another, 1 mil in what we give them. To give them 1 mil, we would have to raise the taxes 1 mil. And, you know, we talked about it long and hard, and not sure everybody wanted to raise the taxes 1 mil. I think everybody wants to support the fire department. They want to get a new truck.
But if they can't fundraise, it's not our problem as a taxpayer. I'm
The fire
sorry.
department does not want this fire tax.
No.
We don't
Can I
want.
finish talking here?
Go ahead.
I mean, sorry, Jim.
So, instead of giving them extra money, one of the things that, because I thought maybe we can accomplish, is doing some sort of donation spread out over maybe 4 or 5 years. And I'll say it like this. If you look at our, yeah, it would have to go towards a truck and only a truck. And it would have to be written as such. Our interest earnings that we're budgeting is $25,000 a year. Since Joe Biden has been in office and the interest rates have been high, it's probably been more like we've been collecting about 50 grand a year. Hence why we've been able to balance our budget probably pretty well. So maybe if we can write something to where we can say, hey, we can donate $20,000 a year in interest only towards a new fire truck over the next 5 years. Give them $100,000. If they order a new truck, with a new truck, it would not be coming out of our money per se, because it would be interest that we earned on our money.
Here we go.
You would just have to put that in there as a line.
I'm just saying, thinking outside the box to help them, help our community.
It doesn't, I understand what you're saying, it doesn't take anything about take anything from the taxes collected, but the taxes collected are supposed to be handled in a way that, yeah, we do get interest. That's part of our it's part of our budget every year is interest earned, you know what I mean? So it is money that we typically every year spend on something else. So you're taking that interest money from something we spend it on every year and giving it another direction. You're gonna cut something out no matter what.
And maybe we have to like sit down and structure it a percentage of the interest that we make. Because if a Republican gets in and the interest rates drop, you know, maybe we don't make as much interest, but you know, it could be a percentage of what we make, and maybe it's spread out, maybe not just 5 years, but maybe a 10-year. But it's something that we can help donate to them that's not affecting taxes and affecting the budget per se.
I want to do that, but I have something that boils inside of me sometimes. Maybe sometime it happens once a day, and sometime it can happen 3 times a week. I've asked multiple people with the fire department to consider something, and I never get anything more than a blow off. I asked a simple question. We've talked about emergency issues in Manor how many times, and every area has something, and it's usually their whistle, gets to a higher level and stays on longer to let everybody know there's a real big emergency. Open your eyes, look at your television, something. It is that high-end whistle. The whistle here is at high end and stays there every time it rings. So I've asked, can you drop it down to where it used to be and save that upper level for when there's an emergency above a fire? And it's blown off as, nah, we're just gonna run as high as we want.
You can't do that.
Yes, right, but you can't readjust that thing, it used to not be that high.
It always was that high until you started bitching and the chief shut it off at night.
Yeah.
You should have told me that my bitching got through.
That's the only reason you shut off on that.
Yeah. Time,
Christina, did you get
time
that?
down.
Okay, so.
All right, Tiffany?
Yep.
And I didn't know you did that for that reason, but I thank you for that. It's nice. I do, I definitely thank you.
That's the president, thanks.
During today, it doesn't matter, we don't have a high level to state a major emergency.
No, it's the same level.
Can we get back on track? Can we get back on track?
Well, you're about to talk about it.
Somebody's getting
So
tired.
anyway, that's something that if you guys can think about that next month, when we talk about the budget again, if, maybe somebody has some ideas, if you guys just say no, you don't want to, say that too.
No, we
But
want
it was
to,
just something that,
You said no.
No,
You just say no fire tax?
No fire.
No fire tax.
That's the 1 mil, right? Is that what you're
Because,
referring to?
and let me explain why. Besides the fish fries and the hoagie sales, one of our biggest fundraisers is our fund drive. That's where we make most of our money. Everybody in the community gets a letter, donate to the fire department. You put that 1 mil fire tax, we're gonna lose most of our donations because no one's gonna, well, I'm already paying a fire tax, why should I have to? And that's why we don't want it.
Got it.
Good.
In fact, I think you told us that before. Yeah, that rings a bell.
I think so.
Dawn never thanks.
So.
Yeah.
Out of order.
I don't know how that adds up.
Well, that's right, you get it.
Is there anything else? Just so you guys know, next month we have to pass the preliminary budget. So if you guys, if you all want something. In Pittsburgh. I like that way better. You gotta get with Jim and Joe. So we can get this full. Okay? All right. Discussion and or deliberation and or official action on adopting ordinance 602-4-04 related to zoning, also known as the Manor Borough zoning ordinance, and replacing chapter 27 in its entirety.
North Korea.
What are the wishes of council?
I make a motion that we table it till next month, only due to the, distribution of it may not have been full enough for everyone at the council table to have read thoroughly. So,
We're tabled.
but we'll come back to this same exact decision next month.
Gary second. I just have one question for the group. Jim asked for a printed copy. Does anybody else want a printed copy of the draft ordinance?
Can I be updated?
yeah, I would update with what you want.
I'll take that out of my salary.
I know, I got my money back because you put it on the website. I got
Yeah,
my
so
money back.
does everybody want a printed? I'll just print one for everybody. How's that?
There you go.
$29.75.
Yeah.
Done deal.
Then you know it's
They will be in your mailbox.
No,
Okay.
But everybody should pick them up from them real soon. We're gonna be ready.
No control over that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Any correspondence?
No, sir.
I need an approval to pay the bills.
I make that motion.
Second it.
You made a motion, Dave.
You?
Who, I didn't know who seconded that.
I did.
Go on, Dave.
All those, any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There is already been a session. Is there any more citizens' comments?
I have one. Oh, sorry.
Ishpin Lewis.
Jerry Lewis?
Yes, sir. Am I recognized, President Goffel? Thank you. Art funds. Raise a hand. Who all read the final rules from 2020? You read all of them. You read the first one, 436 pages?
I didn't read them all, Jerry. I read
Okay,
through them.
good, thanks. Okay, here's my bucket list. This is where the money should go. This is according to the regulations. Jim just brought up about the fire truck. Now, part of your funds that you can donate money to the fire department for a new fire truck. The fire department already has a truck fund, $150,000 out of that ARP money to the fire department. How much I got left? Library came in here when we had our special meeting, asked for 12,000, make it 24,000 because you made them wait 4 years. We have a food bank. We have a food bank that these people go to eat. You didn't give any money to the people. How much money we got left, Chelsea?
I'm not adding it up, sorry.
Okay.
Jerry.
Let's see here. Let's take Tyler's sign. Okay, 150, 25,000 for the library. Let's give $75,000 to the food bank. We got left over.
Not much.
Good, because that's where it should go. Tyler gets a sign for 40,000. Everybody else gets more. So the fire department is entitled to 150. We'll give 150, okay? Councilman Gongaware for the fire truck. Put it right into your account.
Jerry, did you say give the fire department 150?
Yeah, put it right in. You can put it right into their fire truck
Because
fund.
they're not part of Manor Borough.
What?
They're not part of Manor Borough.
Who? The fire department.
Is that right?
That's how I read it last time.
Who are they a part of?
Well, they're volunteer.
That's okay.
That means the borough would run the fire department.
No, not with art money it wouldn't.
That's how I read it, Chief.
No,
Yeah, well,
no.
They're not an entity of the borough.
we're not an entity of the borough.
Okay, well then, here's what we'll do. We'll just go ahead and let,
That would be
Jerry, 3 minutes is up.
yeah, thanks, Tony.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Have a good night. I know it's past your bedtime.
Motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn. Donnie, first, second. Second, third.
Okay, here we go. Paperwork all ready.